Moments that got paternity court canceled.
It's enough of how the news is treating me.
Okay.
No one knows the person I am. Nobody but this woman, and that woman sitting right there, and this man beside me. Everybody have skeletons in their closet.
And do you know you?
I wanted my 22 of them, though. That's the problem. I probably do better with my 22 than some of you people with 1 or 2.
You are not her father.
Take out your gossip mags, folks, because we have all the tea on this scandalous case. Miss Britton was seeking the truth about her fiancé's alleged baby bonanza. Oh, he was a Casanova through and through. Get ready for a roller coaster of love, lies, and a lie detector test that was bound to get one canceled.
You admit that you owe thousands of dollars in child support to many of them, and you may never be able to pay it all back. But you claim you've learned your lesson now and promise to be faithful to Miss Britton, regardless of what the lie detector results will prove.
So this modern-day Romeo had a prolific past and had the audacity to blame it all on the seductive sirens, while the plaintiff, torn between love and doubt, spilled the beans on the trust issues that sprouted with every baby bump.
Not to oversimplify, but how does that happen?
Easy. When you're a greater person than I am, then it happens with no problem. I'm good with people. I'm good with women.
Mrs. Shaw,
Yes, ma'am.
you gotta give me a better answer than that.
It happens.
No, the ladies love you like what? That was your past.
Well, Mr. Shaw was calm and collected for a man who was drowning in unpaid child support. Gotta get some of that confidence for myself, huh? He defended his fertile past, blaming it on a childhood role model gone astray, while Miss Britton even knows about the growing army of baby mamas, still stuck around because, well, love conquers all, right?
He didn't have a role model. And the reason I'm saying is because he looked up at another man that had numerous of kids as he was a little boy. He told me this, and he thought that was the way to go.
So where are you in your relationship that you feel like this court can help?
It's enough of how the news is treating me.
Okay.
No one knows the person I am.
Moving on, surprise witnesses stepped up next. And guess what? While one of them was a friend, the other was an esteemed member of the Baby Mamas Club. Oh yeah, and both had a lot to say about the type of father the defendant had been. Interesting.
In my side, he's a great dad because when he had the money to take care of his kids, he always have it. Like now, he don't have money, he just don't have a job right now. But he do what he can when he can. Right now, he just really need help with employment and, finding a new way in life because everybody don't shut the door on him since all this media stuff.
Okay.
The couple planned to navigate the choppy waters of 22 potential Mimi Shaws. The doubts still linger. To sum it up, this was a saga of heartbreak, deception, and 22 mini-dramas. And the only way through was the lie detector results. Here goes nothing.
During this test, you were asked, are you absolutely committed to being faithful to Tamika? You said yes. And the lie detector indicated you were telling the truth.
Some decades-old secrets were about to be spilled. And yup, some tissues might be needed. Fasten your seatbelts, friends. It's about to get emotional as Miss Dandridge takes us along her quest to find her long-lost father.
You believe is that man, though you've never laid eyes on him. He's waiting outside the courtroom and you will meet him for the first time in just moments. You have petitioned the court to administer a DNA test to determine if he is, in fact, your long-lost father.
Now, let's talk about betrayal. The daughter unveiled her painful journey, where she believed one man to be her father. It's a tale filled with Facebook drama, adoption bombshells, and a dash of family mystery.
Roughly 3 months ago, I posted on Facebook. This status may hurt some people's feelings, but I really want to know who my dad is. And my mom, she got on there and she told me that I was a liar and that I never asked who my dad was and just threw his name at me. And then after she gave me that name, she told me to never contact her again.
So previously, these guys had only been talking on the phone, but now they were about to meet for the first time. After the teary meetup, the baby daddy shared how he met her mother, and in doing so, he ended up sharing some real TMI content as well. Yeesh!
I was in shock because I was told when I was younger I was sterile. I couldn't have kids. But I was at the right place at the right time with her mother down in Florida.
You did know her mother?
Yes, ma'am.
So, a drifter's adventure and some questionable choices led these guys here. And this mystery has been years in the making. Moreover, Mr. Sigmund revealed that they also planned to get married at some point. So, where did it all go wrong then?
She was gone one week, I got in trouble with the law down there. I made some bad choices. I got kicked out of the state of Florida for a year. Knowing that I was sterile, I knew it wasn't any reason to go back. I done started another relationship.
So did you ever know that her mother was pregnant?
No, I did not.
Cue the drum roll, please, because the envelope was ready to be torn apart. The stakes were through the roof for the daughter. With hearts pounding and breaths held, let's reveal the results.
Mr. Sigmund, you are not her father.
I can't breathe. I can't
Sit her down, Mr. Sigmund. Just put her down.
Okay.
There's no way I've come through too much. He was supposed to be my dad.
2 kids, 2 potential dads, and 1 messy divorce. Get your popcorn ready, folks, because Miss Fain claimed that while she might not be a faithful wife, she sure was a careful one. Let's dive into this paternity drama.
It's been really difficult. My life's been cut off, my car been taken due to him not helping me watch the kids.
You know that she needs help,
Yes, ma'am.
but you refuse to help.
It's not so much as I refuse, I just don't want to be that guy taking care of someone else's kids.
And you truly don't believe these children are yours.
I truly do not believe it.
So, their romance blossomed from a chat line, upgraded to marriage, and then hit the skids with a side of paternity questions. Sarcasm level? Well, Shakespearean tragedy, but with more reality TV vibes, of course.
We did meet over the chat line.
You start dating, and then you were in a committed relationship, end up getting married,
Got married after my daughter was 4 months old.
and then somewhere along the line, paternity questions.
He was looking through my phone, checking my messages, and ended up saying that I was cheating with another guy.
Cue the betrayal track, because the baby mama had been a busy bee around town. Mr. Jeter not only catches her cheating once, but twice. Ouch! Hurt and betrayal, anyone? Well, their marriage was rocky, to say the least.
Miss Fain, you were cheating on your husband.
Yes, I was.
Why?
Pretty much, I got married early. I just wasn't interested in Drew anymore, so I started cheating.
Mr. Jeter, is this the only time you caught your wife cheating?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Moving on, these guys got separated, but neither had any clue about what fate had in store for them. So the hubby didn't roll out the red carpet at the joyous news of pregnancy. But hold on, because mommy had other plans for her journey.
When she called and told me that, she was pregnant, my only response was DNA test. I don't want to take care of nobody else's child. I'm sorry, I
Which
don't.
we was having sex unprotectedly.
Unprotected. You also had the affair during that time too, right?
Yes, I was protected.
Next up, we get to know whether the defendant had any sort of bond with the baby boys. Turns out, there was none. Yup, heard that right. It seems the wife's antics did a number on him, huh?
I really don't have
Not at
a
all.
relationship with him.
He's acting out, he don't listen, he don't have a father figure in his life, and he needs his dad.
And so you say Antoine has really been suffering. Do you tell him and his brother that this is their dad?
He knows his dad, he calls him DJ, that's his nickname.
So, 2 babies were on the line here. And you know what that means? Baby daddy and mama had been having fun while being separated. Well, ain't that a perfect recipe for a paternity disaster? And when you add the girlfriend into this mix, boy, things heated up.
So when's the first time you heard about him still going back and visiting his wife and sleeping with her?
Today. Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Jeter, you had not told your girlfriend in 4 years that you were still sexually active with your wife.
And want his family back.
Man, this was some hot mess these guys had created here. Mr. Jeter appeared a victim, but soon took the mantle of a real jerk, didn't he? Oh, he couldn't keep it in his pants long enough, then had the nerve to question paternity. And mommy wasn't coming slow either.
And from my understanding, he's been denying that family.
But from your understanding as well, he wasn't sleeping with her. And then you obviously were sleeping with her during the window of time that Kingston was conceived, which was a little over 2 years ago.
Yes, ma'am.
Dirty.
We're gonna tell the truth. I was. Yes, ma'am.
The moment of truth is upon us. The DNA results are a wild card. Is Jeter the father or not? But wait, there's more. A girlfriend's revelation, courtroom theatrics, and a judge's wisdom. It's like a season finale with more twists than a Tarantino film.
When you found out you were pregnant the second time with Kingston, Miss Fain, did you tell your husband?
Yes, I did call him over the phone and let him know that I was pregnant again.
Were you sleeping with anybody else at that time?
Yes, I was, and that was protected.
It's kind of hard to believe, ain't it?
So the husband and wife were separated, and yet mommy wasn't alone during the second pregnancy. While these guys claimed to have been going for the divorce, they certainly were busy doing other things. And the girlfriend described it just right.
So when you had the baby, when you had Kingston, who was with you?
The other guy.
And he signed the birth certificate, Your Honor.
He signed the birth certificate?
He did not sign the birth certificate.
Do you have a copy of Kingston's birth certificate?
Yes.
Certification of birth and no father listed.
Well, it was about time we put an end to this shadow, because the results were in. The wild ride of drama, love, and a whole lot of cheating was about to be concluded. Let's see whether these babies had Mr. Jeter as the father or not.
You are the father.
Told you. I already know.
You are the father of Antoine.
Now I'm hoping he can be in his son's life.
Do you want to be there for your son, Mr. Jeter?
Yes.
So, this baby mama had a beef, not only with the baby daddy, but also with his meddling sister. And guess what? This said infamous sister accompanied the defendant. Will the truth surface or leave us hanging? Let's find out.
We planted this baby, and then when I got pregnant, he was there, and it's like when he told his family I was pregnant, that's when they turned against me, and they had put in his mind that he's not the father of my son.
You were in a relationship?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about the relationship.
We met in my old neighborhood. It was like love at first sight. We was friends first.
So, picture this, a whirlwind romance that makes Romeo and Juliet look like casual acquaintances. It appears these guys skipped the dating stage and jumped straight into parenthood. Cue the applause.
You're dating, you say you fall in love, and he says, I want a child. He wants you to have a baby.
Yes, ma'am.
And you say, okay.
Yes.
And you all
We
purposefully
Yes,
try to get pregnant.
Yes, ma'am.
And were you committed? Were you boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yes, ma'am. I was committed. I haven't been with nobody else.
Lights, camera, baby making action. So, from 0 to pregnancy, the months consisted of blissful togetherness. So where did it all go wrong then? He wanted a child, and she obliged. But hold your confetti. It was the guy's family that had issues.
My family don't feel like he mine.
They don't know
my
me.
family don't feel like he mine. Maybe it's the persona she gave off.
They don't know me,
She
but
give
they
me
was
different
friends. They
vibes.
was cool with me at first until I got pregnant.
How did you find out you're pregnant?
Because I was sleeping all day, and he went to go get the pregnancy test for me. He told me I was pregnant before I knew.
Next up, the emotions run pretty high as baby daddy gets tearful watching their old pictures. So all love's not lost then. However, the sister soon jumps in with all the doubts and suspicions these guys had. Not too convincing though.
Where did this go wrong?
The streets talk, and she was messing with other people at the time, Your Honor.
What
that's
other
why.
people?
That's
You don't
why.
even know me.
That's why I'm
We
saying
ain't work.
we heard from
We ain't
people
work.
that she was pregnant before she started messing with my brother, and that's why we're in denial because my brother he's sick and he haven't conceived any kids.
Oh, the drama escalated when a certain sickness comes into play. Yep, that's the defense the brother-sister duo go with. However, the baby daddy took it up a notch higher. Gotta see that for yourselves though.
Every girl that he's been in a relationship with, they was supposed to be pregnant.
Every girl want
No.
my baby. Every girl.
No babies. Your Honor.
Every girl wants
Not
your
every
baby?
girl, but the ones I
Must be
been
He was trying to
Maybelline.
get, I guess he was trying to get other women pregnant, but it never happened, but I was the one that it happened to. That's basically what she's saying.
Well, up till this point, there had been a lot of talk and not much of anything to back it up. Let's remedy that, shall we? Miss Jones was ready to shine with all the stuff she had heard about the baby mama and her shenanigans that put doubt in their heads. Let's hear it.
First of all, she was having threesomes with men. She was already pregnant before she met my brother. That's what I heard.
Ms. Davis, is that true?
No, they can't even tell you that I talked to anybody while you sitting up here doing all that.
I don't know that. I don't know what you was doing. I don't know what
you
you
want.
Even after all that, Miss Davis was still holding strong though, and the baby daddy signed the birth certificate too with everything going on. Clear where his priorities lie. However, the baby mama and Miss Jones soon started to rip into each other. Cue the yelling, folks.
And then another thing, she was lying anyway, saying that she was getting DNA tests while we was in Missouri, never did nothing.
I never
so how would
said
that make us feel?
Because they
that
told
you're trying
me
to
he's
hide
on the
something.
birth certificate.
Right, but you still have to establish maternity in the state of Missouri. I didn't got DNA test, so I know how it goes.
What you mean?
Hold on.
He's
Ladies.
It appears that even after all that mayhem and drowning and all kinds of doubts and pressure from the family, the couple was still working on their relationship. Can't decide whether to applaud them or get ready for another paternity crisis. The way they were going, my money was on the latter.
She puts her own assertion in jeopardy. It could be proven today that he's not the biological father.
My point, but DNA, the law, under the law doesn't mean anything.
Well, yes, it does.
I mean, if he by the law, yeah, under the law, but they don't have DNA.
As the courtroom chaos reaches its peak, the truth hangs in the balance. Accusations of threesomes, scarlet fever, and doubts about paternity flew all over, but the DNA results held the key. Here's the final verdict.
Mr. Gilbert, you are the father. If you want to stay over there, you can, Mr. Gilbert.
That's good.
Who's the daddy? You don't know.
Told me the baby wasn't mine.
It was this.
I'm not the daddy.
Who's the daddy that paid the daycare?
Oh, I'm gonna go cheat on you.
Sleeping together without protection? So even if you're on or if you're off, you're still having sex. How do you know it?
Because you've been denying the baby, that's why.
Did you break up during the pregnancy?
I remember all my sexual encounters.
Wasting my time.
Ms. Vaught says that Mr. Lindsay abruptly ended their relationship due to paternity doubts over their daughter Shelby. Completely correct to do this, as Ms. Vaught committed paternity fraud by claiming he's Shelby's dad. Prove that Ms. Vaught is indeed a cheat. Those are incredible claims Mr. Lindsay's making. Let's see if they have any truth to them.
Well, the stakes are pretty high today.
Yes, they are, Your Honor.
Explain.
I wouldn't place a baby on someone that I didn't know, like didn't believe was her father. You get what I'm saying? I have 2 previous kids before him, and my children both have the same father. And if I felt in my heart that he wasn't the father, or if it was a second guess of him being a father, I would have told him from the door.
That seems reasonable, but that's what a lot of women who find themselves in paternity court usually say. And sometimes it turns out to be a lie. Ms. Vaught says she and Mr. Lindsay used to have a great relationship for around 2.5 years, and things were very rosy. Well, that was until Mr. Lindsay started listening to hearsay and started doubting that he was the father of Shelby.
What happened, Mr. Lindsay? She says you all were good friends. Were you in a relationship? Were you just dating, or were you committed?
No, we was good friends. We was in a relationship. Everything was going good. Today, I feel like she too friendly. She too friendly to me, man. She too friendly.
Too friendly?
Too friendly.
Everybody, her cousin,
Your
her
Honor,
brother.
he has a
It's something
nerve.
like that.
Oh, too friendly with different guys.
Remember, ladies, if you get too friendly with other people, your man may think he's not really the father of your child. Expect you to totally accept that as a sane response to being friendly with other people. That's just the way of the world out here, folks. Don't forget, Mr. Lindsay here and Ms. Too Friendly with Other Guys, Vaught were sleeping together without protection for the entirety of their relationship. So Ms. Vaught may have been too friendly with other guys, but that certainly didn't stop Mr. Lindsay from sleeping with her without protection.
2.5 years. Sleeping together without protection?
Yes, we were.
For 2.5 years?
All the time.
We was on and off for 2.5 years. She not telling the truth. We was on and off
No,
for
he
2.5
went away
years.
for 6 months of the 2.5 years.
And we still was on and off. Yana, when we first met, everything was going good. We was doing good. Then little stuff started popping up with her.
What popped up?
her talking to people.
Apparently, at some point, Ms. Vaught had told a man on Instagram to knock on the right window when he came to see her. That sounds shady, to be fair, but Ms. Vaught says that happened way before she got serious with Mr. Lindsay. If she's telling the truth, then we've got to doubt Mr. Lindsay's argument here. First of all, why would his first cause of doubt be before he even started dating Ms. Vaught? That generally means the defendant doesn't have a good enough reason to doubt paternity.
So, Mr. Lindsay, besides her on Instagram and you see her telling somebody to knock on the window, what else?
She told me the baby wasn't mine. So what I'm supposed to do?
And that's, Your Honor, I said that out of anger because for him to say, because he would say to me, Your Honor, oh, I don't feel that's my baby. I don't feel that's my baby. Why would you say that when I'm loyal to you? And I have been 110% with you. I don't lie to this man.
Mr. Lindsay might not have had a good reason before, but he certainly had one once Ms. Vaught told him Shelby wasn't his. Saying that to your baby daddy is kind of like ringing a bell. Once you ring it, you cannot unring it. Most men will never forget something like that, and even if that doubt wasn't there before, it's going to start growing. Well, Mr. Lindsay has another reason for doubt.
We live in different towns. I wasn't even in the same town.
You were away in when?
February, she talked about she pregnant. How did
I away in
months? I'm not that good at math. I'm not
if you count back 9 months,
no better.
Your contention is that she conceived somewhere in the December-ish area.
And New Year's Eve is December.
And you were away with your family out of town for 2 months.
That's a really good and coherent point. But Ms. Vaught says she can distinctly remember being with Mr. Lindsay and having passionate intercourse with him on New Year's Eve. She says she's certain that was the night Shelby was conceived. Mr. Lindsay says he wasn't there and that Ms. Vaught is mistaking him for another man. Well, if that's the case, then he cannot possibly be the father, right?
You assert that you all were together.
Yes.
New Year's Eve.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so that would have been December 31st. That would have been within the window of time.
Exactly.
And so, Mr. Lindsay, you're saying that's incorrect, that you were not with her?
I was not there. I don't know if she got me confused with somebody.
And you see, that's disrespectful right there. Because if we were together 2.5 years, how could you open your mouth and say something like that?
And that hurts your feelings.
And it does, because I love this man, and he know I love him.
Right? Ms. Vaught has a great point here, because if Mr. Lindsay really felt this way, he should have said something a while ago. She says Mr. Lindsay was always there for her and Shelby. She says he signed his name on her birth certificate, was with her during delivery, and was with her every step of the way during the pregnancy. If he did that, why is he trying to back out now? Anyway, the results of the lie detector test are out, and it doesn't look really good for Ms. Vaught.
Ms. Vaught, you were asked, did you have sexual contact with the man who sent you an Instagram message about which window to knock on? You said no. The lie detector determined you were being deceptive.
True. That I was lying?
You're not telling the truth.
I was lying?
That's what that means, deceptive.
Okay,
you was lying.
Ms. Vaught, you were asked, did you have sexual contact with the man who sent you messages calling you sexy?
Oh, at this point, you'd probably think Shelby doesn't belong to Mr. Lindsay, and Ms. Vaught has been lying all this while, and that's a good guess to make, especially as she failed the lie detector test. But this is paternity court, and things aren't so straightforward. Let's see what the DNA test results have to say about Shelby's paternity.
Mr. Lindsay, you are the father.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm so happy. Can I have that, please? Can I have that?
Oh, you want to put this up in the house?
Yep.
You're going to put this on the refrigerator.
Every family member.
I can only imagine what it feels like. For 9 months, you have a beautiful baby, and people are questioning the baby. Father won't be fully attached. Constant arguments.
Ms. Graham is certain that her on-again, off-again fiancé is her 4-year-old child's father, and just wants the court to set the record straight. The man in question, Mr. Scott, believes the exact opposite and says he has strong proof for his claims. And what's that proof? Well, Mr. Scott says there's always a twin in his family, and Ms. Graham's child Taylor isn't a twin. That's right. It's the no-twin paternity hypothesis.
You say your engagement is on the line and you want the truth. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Graham, you say you need today's results to save your relationship. Tell the court why.
Basically, we're planning a wedding and we're getting in arguments every day about the paternity. He knows he's the father. He's new since I've told him several times that he's the father, and he still tries to deny it.
Before this paternity issue came up, Ms. Graham and Mr. Scott had plans to get married. Mr. Scott had even proposed. So how did they get from almost getting married to paternity court?
Your Honor, I asked her for a test over and over again.
Okay, but take me back. How did we get to the point where, okay, will you marry me? Yes, I will. But we need a DNA test. I mean, how do we get from being engaged and being happy, planning a wedding, to all of a sudden this DNA thing looming over our heads?
Because I want to move on with it, but not if Taylor Rose is not my
daughter.
So not only is Taylor's paternity on the line, but the entire relationship and future marriage is on the line too. These are big stakes, and with stakes as huge as this, we should expect both parties to be as honest as they can be, right?
What happened during this on-off thing that produced this paternity question?
It was him. I know the night that I conceived. I definitely know the night I conceived. We went down to Orlando. We got a room. We had sex for about a week, nonstop. He knows exactly which weekend I'm talking about.
Your Honor,
It's like after I got pregnant.
They'd gotten engaged even before the child was conceived, but once Ms. Graham told Mr. Scott that she was pregnant, the issues started coming up, but that doesn't make sense. If they were going to get married anyway and were sleeping together without protection, why would a pregnancy announcement complicate things? Well, that's where it gets complicated.
Your Honor, I found out that she was pregnant prior to her telling me. The reason how I found out was when I went back into the house, I was searching through paperwork, cleaning up, and when I cleaned up, I saw something from the doctor's office and it said that she was like 6 weeks pregnant, and we only been back together for like 2 weeks. So how is it possible that Taylor Rose is my daughter?
Oh, so Mr. Scott says they might have been on and off, but the dates certainly don't add up. Mr. Scott says he didn't tell her about seeing the paperwork and waited for her to break the news to him herself. Ms. Graham, on the other hand, says she only hesitated before telling me Scott about the pregnancy because it was her first child and she panicked. How believable is that to you?
So after I told him, I'm expecting him to be excited, and he just, oh, that's not my child. Like, it was just like a big mess. The one person in the world who I was expecting to embrace this turned into my enemy. I had to do this completely alone. And I mean, like, no mother, no woman should have to do that. He completely left me.
Well, Mr. Scott thinks Ms. Graham hesitated before telling him because she wasn't sure she wanted to make him the child's father. Can you really blame him? Most men would think the same if they found such paperwork. Anyway, Ms. Graham must have a coherent explanation for this mismatch in dates, right?
I just wanted to have time. I had just graduated. I just wanted to have time for myself to see what my options were before I had him, down my throat, do this, do this, do this. So once I did make the decision to keep the child, I brought it to him. I was very afraid. Like I said, I just had graduated. My life is just beginning to take off.
That explanation was many things, but it wasn't coherent and definitely didn't satisfy the question. It seems Ms. Graham is playing a game of ostrich here and is hiding her head in the sand. Anyway, Judge Lake asks the question again, and Ms. Graham does the same thing.
Mr. Scott is saying that during the window of time when this baby would have been conceived, you all were on the out. Just because you were still having sex with him doesn't, of course, change the fact that you could have been having sex with somebody else. Was there someone else that you were dating or seeing?
Not before I was pregnant, no.
But after you were pregnant, there was?
Yes.
So who were you with when you gave birth to Taylor?
Now we are getting somewhere. Ms. Graham says her new boyfriend after she got pregnant was the one with her when she got pregnant. She also says that Mr. Scott somehow came to the hospital after she'd given birth and caused a scene. Mr. Scott made a scene by screaming that Ms. Graham cheated on him, and Taylor isn't his child because she's not a twin and all of that. But if he knew that Taylor wasn't his child, what was even the point of making a scene? It's ridiculous.
She was in the hospital and had the baby.
I didn't want that stress.
I had to find out from someone else.
I did not want that stress. And I was right.
What stress?
I was right. He came up there and he did every single thing that I knew he was going to do, which is why I did not call him. I didn't tell him at all.
Your Honor, she did call me and she said, you are not the father.
When was this? Did you call him and tell him he's not the father?
No.
Wait, what? Okay, even if she did call Mr. Scott and tell him that, why would it matter? He already said that the baby wasn't his. Why would her confirming that enrage him so much? And what's up with this twins business?
Your Honor, twins run in my family. Taylor Rose is not a twin.
Well, every child born in a family that has twins won't be a twin.
Well, I know my sister didn't have any twins. I know I will be the one to have twins. Taylor Rose is not my child.
Where are you getting this information from, Mr. Scott?
It's what I know.
How do you know it?
From my family history. I know.
Oh.
So it's biology against Mr. Scott. Let's see who comes out on top. Does Taylor Rose belong to Mr. Scott or someone else? The DNA test results have our answers, and it might shock you.
Mr. Scott, you are not the father.
Thank you, Your Honor. I already knew I wasn't.
Jerome, can you go see if you can try to get Miss Graham?
Could I speak with her for a moment?
No, just let her have a minute. Let her have a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
You ain't got to get all silly.
Yes, ma'am.
If you know something in your heart, and that's what you truly feel, you stand respectfully as a man, you just get the result. Miss Graham?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, obviously, the part of this story wasn't true.
There were some details.
Mr. Wilson is sure he isn't the biological father of Ms. Butler's 2 daughters, 19-month-old Niana. He says Ms. Butler was sleeping with everyone who could get her to be horizontal and that the babies are definitely not his. Ms. Butler, of course, denies this completely and says that both children definitely belong to Mr. Wilson. Let's see about that.
Mr. Wilson, I'll start with you. You say you are adamant that these 2 children are not yours. Explain.
When we first got together, at the time she had the baby, she was a liar, cheating all the time, had multiple guys running out of the house, all on the internet. I mean, go to the apartment, everybody talking about who she messing with.
So you say these kids aren't yours?
No, they're not mine. They're not mine, not at all.
Well, many men have arrived at paternity court with even more certainty than Mr. Wilson here and have been proven wrong. Full disclosure here, Mr. Wilson is 48 and Ms. Butler is just 25. So maybe Mr. Wilson just thinks Ms. Butler is a cheat because she hangs out with people of her age. Maybe that's just the case. But Mr. Wilson disagrees.
Ms. Butler, you say he's absolutely incorrect.
Yes, these kids is definitely his.
So let me ask you this, because it's right here in my court file, so let's just be honest about it. There's a significant age difference between you, Mr. Wilson, and Ms. Butler. You are 48, she is 25.
Yes.
Are you sure this is not a situation where you may feel like Ms. Butler is out there?
Okay, Mr. Wilson. Maybe you've got a point, but you've got to prove all these allegations you're making. First, let's start with Zaria, since there are 2 children here. Why do you think Ms. Butler here is a cheat? You must have some really good reasons to think she was sleeping with other men when Zaria was conceived, right?
One time I go up to her job to see her at work, take her some lunch, and I seen her get out of another guy's car. And I got a cell phone, and I seen that she'd been in a whole nother relationship with this other guy, a light-skinned guy by her skin color.
It wasn't a relationship.
And what?
Okay, wait. So I want to understand this. At the time Zaria was conceived, you thought you all were committed.
I thought so.
But
it looks like Ms. Butler isn't a completely innocent party here. But here's the good thing. Dear Miss Butler has a perfect explanation for her behavior.
We wasn't living together, so it was kind of different, though.
Oh, you can't be in a committed relationship unless you live together?
I mean, I did love him, though. I really did, but...
No, she didn't.
I did love you, but I just...
I mean, if you love me, you wouldn't have never, called at work with another guy. And I read the text messages, calling him daddy and all that stuff, and yeah.
That sounds really bad, Ms. Butler. But at least it was a one-time thing, right? It never happened after that, right? Well, wrong.
Didn't want us to be together because of age difference.
Okay.
I understand that, She sending naked pictures of other guys. The same picture she sent me.
So you went through her phone and you saw the same picture she'd send you.
Yes,
the sexy
guy.
picture, she sent them to somebody else.
Yes, even when we were living together, she was doing the same thing.
Were you double dipping on the pictures, Miss Butler?
Triple dipping, quadruple tripping.
It's not often you see a man accuse a woman of cheating in paternity court, and she clearly admits to it. Ms. Butler is one honest woman. Well, at least she's honest about these allegations. But Mr. Wilson isn't done yet. He has some more things to say.
You said something about you caught her at work?
Yeah, I was going to take her lunch, and she worked late, so I was going to take her lunch, being a good man. And nobody couldn't find her. I couldn't find her at work. I looked up, she getting out of the car with this other dude and bumped right into me. She got her head down and bumped right into me. And that's when she dropped the phone, I picked up the phone, and I just pushed her out the way and left. And she's screaming for a cell phone. I got in the car and left. And that's when I read the phone. That's when she called the other dude daddy and all that.
And Ms. Butler, true to form, admits that this happened too. She says she did meet the guy and tried to sleep with him, and they tried it a couple of times, but never actually did it. What does that even mean, you may ask? Well, Ms. Butler says the guy never finished, so they just slept together without finishing a couple of times. That sounds reasonable and totally doesn't sound like cheating.
So you find out you're pregnant with Zaria. You tell him you're pregnant. He immediately says he has doubts. You say you don't have doubts. You know that Zaria is his child because you just know.
Yeah, because I just know, because we will always have sex, like, all the time.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
All right, now take me to her birth. What was going on?
I mean, I didn't have my phone at the hospital, so I would have definitely had called him, so.
Oh, he wasn't even there?
No, ma'am.
Because my phone, I didn't have my phone around that time.
That's it, folks. Mr. Wilson says he knows Zaria isn't his because he's caught Ms. Butler cheating on him several times. Ms. Butler says she knows the child is his because, well, she just knows, and that they had intercourse multiple times without condoms. This is such W conundrum, and only the DNA test results can solve it. Let's see what the results have to say.
Mr. Wilson, you are not the father.
Told you.
Are not?
Yeah, she said it. I'm not the daddy.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
That's not crazy.
Zaria?
Yeah, she's not my baby. You better go make some phone calls.
That's crazy.
I've been telling you for 4
He
years.
is not Zariah's biological father.
The incredible thing about this entire episode is that Ms. Butler just keeps smiling throughout. It's like this doesn't bother her in the least. It doesn't matter to her at all. Thankfully, Judge Lake calls her out on that.
Come on out, because you've been in this fog for far too long, so come on out. Yes, it's sad.
It's real sad.
I don't think I've ever seen a young woman stand in a courtroom and be so cavalier about sleeping with everybody that she feels like. And you supposed to be running around here taking care of this baby, and she 4 years old. She's supposed to be learning her nursery rhyme, and all you can sing is eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Who's the daddy? You don't know.
This episode is for show business. On one side, we've got Ms. Reynolds and her daughter. Ms. Reynolds claims that Mr. Fleecian, who's dressed like a black Elvis Presley, is her daughter's father. She says she has known this for the past 20 years and hopes paternity court reveals the truth today. Mr. Fleecian says he doesn't remember ever sleeping with Ms. Reynolds, and as such, it's impossible that her daughter belongs to him.
So, Ms. Reynolds, what was the nature of your relationship with the defendant?
We didn't have a relationship. I met him at a sex toy party, and he was the stripper.
He was the entertainment.
Yes.
Teddy bear.
Yes. And, we didn't have any action at that time, but maybe a week later, we were at a popular club in our city.
What? What? Do human beings have a mating call? This is Paternity Court, National Geographic. Why would Ms. Reynolds even say that in front of her child? Hopefully, she doesn't do the mating call in court, right? Wait, she doesn't do it, right?
Yes.
How did that make you feel, Jerome?
Running over there.
Exactly.
So, when you were at the club, you hit that note.
I did. Maybe a couple of nights later, or maybe a week or so, he gave me a call after hours. Booty calling out.
At least Ms. Reynolds' daughter can go home after court safe in the knowledge that she's heard her mother's mating call. How many of you can say the same? None of you? Exactly. Well, back to the case.
And he said he was going to come through, and he did. He slid through.
Okay.
Maybe about 5 times, I can remember 3 exactly, that he came over to my home, booty calling hours. I didn't know nothing about this man as far as what was his favorite color. We never dated. We didn't go out or anything like that. It was always booty call.
Wow, that just sounds crazy. Do you know what would be crazier? Mr. Fleecian says he doesn't remember any of this ever happening.
So, Mr. Fleeton, do you remember sleeping with Ms. Reynolds?
No, ma'am. I have no recollection of ever having a sexual encounter with Miss Mary.
But I'm unforgettable.
Well, do you remember her mating call? Hit that one more time. Do you remember hearing that one night?
No, ma'am.
So you don't remember being intimate with Ms. Reynolds at all?
No, ma'am.
Okay, there are 3 options. It's either Mr. Fleecian slept with so many women during his heydays that he honestly can't remember sleeping with Ms. Reynolds, or Ms. Reynolds is ashamed to admit that her mating call isn't really that convincing, or someone here is straight up lying. So, how did we get here? The story will blow your mind as it did mine.
I was dating one of her daughter's friends, and she recognized me. And I'm sorry, no disrespect, babe, no disrespect. But like I say, today I'm here to find out if I'm Kiesha's biological father.
So the court was able to obtain photos of each of you from back in the day. Take a look at the picture, Mr. Fleeton, of Ms. Reynolds.
This is a lot to take in. So, back to option 1. Maybe Mr. Fleecian slept with so many people that he can't remember them. But Mr. Fleecian disagrees with that theory.
Have you ever had sex with somebody and then didn't remember it?
I remember all my sexual encounters.
So can you take me to the moment when you found out you were pregnant, Ms. Reynolds?
Well, when I became pregnant, I was with my ex at that time because we were on and off. And at the time that I had an encounter with Mose, me and my ex was off. And we had gotten back together. So the whole time I just knew that I was pregnant for my ex.
When Ms. Reynolds got pregnant, she was on and off with her ex. She thought that the baby belonged to her ex, but when her child was born, she realized that he was a carbon copy of Mr. Fleecian. But somehow she was able to convince her ex that the baby was his.
And he actually finally came to my house and we talked about it. And I told him that Kiesha could possibly be his child. And he said he didn't remember sleeping with me. And at that moment, I said, oh, well, so taking it to my grave at that point.
So you basically were telling him to protect your daughter.
Exactly.
And once he said, I don't even remember you, you just said, you know what? I'm taking it to my grave. My ex has bought into the fact that he's her biological father.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not as insane as the worst things we've seen on paternity court, but it's still really mad. Kezia, the daughter in question, says her mother's ex was always the man she saw as her father, but he was never really in her life, and she didn't like that at all.
If by chance Kiesha's my biological daughter, If I would have knew back then, she would have had a totally different lifestyle.
Mr. Fleeton, I can tell how emotional this makes you. I see the tears in your eye. What's moving you so much? Can you put it into words?
Since I met Keasia, the last 6 months, I've been there. She called, I'm not busy, I'm there. Her birthday party, I was there.
But how did Mr. Fleetion get back with Ms. Reynolds? He'd said that he didn't even remember sleeping with her. So how did he go from that to having such a deep connection with Kezia?
And I stepped to her and I said, you look like you could be my baby. And I guess she went back home to her mom and told her she met.
When he said that, I can see you are emotional too, Keasia. What did that feel like?
I felt confused, had nobody as a father in my life, and I got kids of my own. I want them to grow up with the grandfather and basically going down the right road and not the wrong road.
Wow, that's moving. Well, let's see whether this is true. Is Mr. Fleetion the father of Keasia, as her mother claims, or is there something else happening here?
Mr. Fleeton, you are not the father. I'm very sorry, Keasia.
I was hearing, I didn't know.
You okay, honey?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to say this to you because you've been so strong, and I appreciate your strength. I admire you for it, but I do want to let you know that it is okay to express what you really feel. Because at the end of the day, this is about you, and this is for you. You're gonna be okay.
Moments that blew my mind on paternity court.
My mother was a with my dad. She slept around, and that's the reason why my mom and my so-called father had broken up. And I want to know who my dad is. I don't know who.
You looked your husband in the eye and gave him permission to sleep with your sister?
Yes.
Why?
And now it's a problem.
She says that you feel like she's after your money. You really believe this girl is standing here in tears over a motorboat that your mama owns?
This juicy case was about to unfold the mysteries of a chaotic family with questionable parentage and a dash of unexpected revelations. We found that Miss Wisniewski blamed her tumultuous upbringing on her mom's promiscuity and dad's alleged skepticism.
My mother was a whore when she was with my dad. She slept around, and that's the reason why my mom and my so-called father had broken up. And I want to know who my dad is. I don't know who he is. This is my dad, or another Jim was my dad. My mom's been with several other Jims in my life, and it's confused me from growing up.
So, Mr. Wisniewski was a military man, and he had quite a few things to say about his former wife, such as bombshells about bars, drinks, and a suspicion-laden relationship. Now, Mommy agreed to a few of them, but not all of it.
Your daughter speak that way about you.
It's very hurtful. I made mistakes, and yes, I did have an affair, but he also had affairs.
While we were together, I was in the military, and went ahead and, I don't mind people buying drinks for ladies in bars free and stuff like that. And bottom line being is that she's an alcoholic.
It seems Mommy has had a wild past packed with affairs. The level of drama was off the charts with this one, because while her husband wasn't that far behind on such antics either, the wife started an affair with a stranger she met on the road. Gotta hear that one.
I was more or less a drink hustler, not a man hustler, because I like to drink. And
you do admit to having infidelity.
Specifically, what happened was on the way home from work one night, we were having an argument. He threw me out of the car. It was late at night.
Wait a minute, you're supposed to be
Christian.
You shouldn't be lying.
I had somebody pick me up because they saw me crying and I'm very upset.
Was it a stranger or someone you knew?
I didn't know that person.
Okay.
Fast forward to Christina's birth. Now, potential father had been at the hospital and everything, but the doubts had taken root in his mind as well. So, after a while, it appears divorce was filed, along with a request for a paternity test as well.
I've never cheated. The thing is that I'm all about customer service. I'm all about customer relations and everything. I might be flirtatious, but I've never cheated on her.
Mr. Wisniewski was there, am I correct?
Yes. We were at the hospital together. He was with me when I had her.
It was your thoughts that he was most certainly her father?
Yes.
Guess the truth was still elusive. The poor daughter was disappointed by both her parents. Cue the heart-wrenching moment, folks, as the plaintiff takes them both along a journey of a little self-reflection. Oh, she ripped into the mother and father together.
No,
I don't recall that, Your Honor.
Yes,
I don't recall that.
You don't recall the conversation?
You're such a holy roller girl.
Not at all. They both missed big parts of my life, and it's been very painful. I just want to know who my dad is, and my mom really wasn't the greatest mother in the world. And you missed everything too. This right here could be your grandson. Does this matter to you?
Apparently, after the divorce, the baby daddy claimed he did get visitation rights. The only obstacle was the mommy dearest and her ever-changing phone numbers. But pretty soon after he tested, he was almost 100% sure he wasn't the real deal, though he did show love to her in her childhood.
I found a number in my mom's black book that said Jim Wisniewski. I kind of got figured that maybe that is my dad. I called up that number, Your Honor, and I said, well, I really want to get to know you. Can we set up something? And I was 8 years old at that time. Why should have I been the one at 8 years old want to get to know my dad? Why couldn't I have weekend visits like normal divorced children have?
So, once apple of the eye was now reduced to just a maybe. Yeah, and on top of that, Mr. Wisniewski claimed his daughter had an ulterior motive for doing all of this too. Guess what that could be? It always comes down to money, doesn't it?
I don't want nothing to do with him of money. I just want time. I don't want money. I just want...
She says that you feel like she's after your money.
Not only mine, but my folks, okay? I mean, they got a nice, extravagant, nice motorhome.
You really believe this girl is standing here in tears over a motorboat that your mama owns?
As emotions ran wild, despair had become the focal point of this whole mess. But no worries, because we have finally reached the climax. Yep, the results were in, and Judge Lake was so ready to deliver that final verdict.
Mr. Wisniewski, you are her father.
What are you gonna do now? Are you gonna come over for Christmas, try to play makeup, or what? You know?
But you can blame your mom for doing this.
No,
I didn't want.
A tale of family drama and a hefty $5,000 defamation claim. That's exactly what brought two daughters to court to defend their late father, and a mother to seek answers for her daughter's paternity.
You're suing the defendant, Karen Williams, for $5,000 for defamation of character. She's destroyed your family name by claiming your father cheated on your mother with her, and this affair produced her daughter, Stephanie.
Yes, Your Honor.
Who you say is not your father's daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
No.
Ooh, I have a feeling these ladies were about to give the Real Housewives a run for their money. Let's begin with the he said, she said sarcastic saga, as this drama had been going on for 35 long years. The defendants had been following the plaintiff's sisters everywhere, or so they claimed.
From the time I was about 6 years old, this been going on with Miss Karen. She done followed us in stores, workplaces,
everywhere.
Everywhere.
And what does she say when she follows you?
Accusing oh, you do. Oh, Miss Stephanie, say hi to your
father,
sister.
this is your sister.
Say hi to your big sister. We ain't her sister.
We not related to her. She don't even look like us.
But let's see what the defendant had to say about it. It turns out that Karen Williams insisted she was no character assassin, but merely spilling the tea on a legit affair, which, by the way, continued for a year or so.
You felt you all were exclusive. You were only sleeping with him?
Yes, Your Honor. I thought I had someone. I was in love with him.
So when you found out you were pregnant, you told
him. And he came and picked me up, and we talked about it. And he did not say he wasn't the father. He just said that congratulations to me.
Exactly. Wouldn't it be
Because
to
he
us,
wasn't the
Jerome?
father.
He's
Yeah.
not the father.
So, baby mama revealed her tryst with the plaintiff's dad, thinking it's a fairy tale romance. But surprise, because the potential father's reaction to the news wasn't exactly Disney Prince Charming, and the yearbook failed to garner any favor too.
I also have, Your Honor, evidence that he wrote in my yearbook we was together.
You do?
3 days before his birthday.
It's making sure we're gonna be together forever, because I'll always love you for you and only you.
My daddy don't even
Just be mine forever.
My father has never talked like that to a woman.
Your Honor, he loved me and I loved him.
He just signed it, Love Baby, though.
Shifting the focus to the daughter in question, we come to know that Daddy Dearest once sat her down and explained who he was. Interesting. And not just that, he gave a phone number too. However, the party who attended the call wasn't too happy with the caller.
He came to my house.
Yes.
I was about 7 or 8, and he explained to me who he was. He was my father. He gave me his phone number. I mean, reluctantly, my mother didn't want me to call because when I did call, I was cursed out by, I don't know, I'm assuming it was their mother. B, don't call here anymore. He's not your father. I was 7 to 8 years old.
We've reached the paternity test of the past. Yup, there was one conducted years ago. However, both parties don't seem to agree on the results of it. No surprise there, obviously. But it was mind-blowing.
They told me to just do what I need to do. My daughter got scared. She threw up on me when they took the blood, so we had to catch the bus back home.
Because you went to the facility, the
Yes,
testing
ma'am.
facility.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you never laid eyes on him. He was not present.
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you think happened?
About 85, he came over in the summertime. Him and family member.
So apparently, after that one conversation, Stephanie had no other conversation with their beloved father. But when he did manage to work up the nerve to talk to him again, fate had other plans, and father was no more. And now the funeral became another bone of contention between the supposed sisters.
I tried to get my cousin to go with me to knock on his door. Well, lo and behold, news come on. He was shot and killed before I even had a chance to get.
Your Honor, that was 4 years ago.
I'm here to find out. That's why it's so important.
But you wasn't at his funeral. You wasn't there when he got killed.
On that behalf, Your Honor, I felt the funeral was not a time for me to come.
Sister or not, they did argue like 'em. How ironic, right? Moving on, the defendant presented another piece of evidence highlighting her and one of the sisters' features and how much they resemble each other. While it may have been uncanny for her, for them, not so much.
It's a picture of me and Deandra, Your Honor.
You believe you resemble one another?
Yes.
No.
Throughout my whole life, Your Honor, people approach me and ask me, do you have a sister that lives in Beecher? Do you have a sister that lives in Beecher? All my life, I've got.
So you believe throughout the years there have been different instances that point it being true?
Yes.
Next up, a surprise witness entered the scene. And guess what? He was another of the kids of the late father. Unlike the sisters, he believed in the possibility of Miss Stephanie being their sister, all based on the fact that father had been a rolling stone in the past.
Why do you feel Miss Williams was included if you feel like it's a possibility that she's your sister?
I wasn't around when all this happened, but it's a real good possibility because my father was a ladies' man. He got around. From me and my father being around each other, especially we made the ride from Texas to California, he always told me that it was also another child out there.
Well, somebody was lying. But we know what doesn't lie, the DNA, yep. And the moment was here to reveal it. 35 years of Who's the Daddy was either finally getting closure or continuing the long journey.
It has been determined by this court. Miss Stephanie Williams, Mr. Andre Willis was not your father.
I told you. So your mama lied to you for 34 years. What you gonna say to her now?
Scandalous sibling rivalry has escalated to the point of casting doubt on paternity. The Hayes sisters were at a paternity showdown concerning the potential child of the plaintiff's husband and the defendant. Oh, this family drama was bound to blow your mind.
Ms. Hayes, how did your sister steal your husband?
I came home and found him and her in our bed naked, and I just, I can't believe it after everything I've done for her. I knew that they were sleeping together, but to put it in my face and be in my bed and me walk in and catch them naked, why would it be any different? She slept with my first husband and my second husband.
Let's rewind to the twisted origins of it. It appears Miss Hayes caught her younger sister and husband in a compromising position. Oh, that must have been unpleasant to say the least. But wait, there's a sarcastic twist. This time isn't the first time sis has dipped into her relationship pool. Oh, dear Lord.
So the court can clarify, this was your younger sister?
Yes. I've had custody of this girl since she was 11. The choices that she made between our dad and her mom led her into drugs, prostitution, everything else. The latest time that I rescued you, I helped you get clean.
Yes, Your Honor,
I went
she
to
did.
Chicago after not hearing from her for 7 years.
Now, let's dive deep into the betrayal zone. The plaintiff was pouring her heart out, detailing how she saved her sister from the depths of despair, only to find her swiping right on her husband. Mind blown yet?
I lost control of my life, myself, my morals, everything. I didn't know how to be a lady. I didn't know how to respect myself. And when all this came about, I didn't go to my sister and say, I need sex or I feel lonely. We used to hang out in her room together, watch movies, whatever we would do.
So you guys, first you got along. You were sisters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on to your gavels now, because the plot thickens. Turns out the trio started as one big happy family, but as the sisterly bond crumbled, man, so did the marriage. Pretty hard to recover from that, right?
There I would hang out in her room, watch movies.
And at the same time, she's lying to him about things that I'm doing to get me and him to argue so him and her can go off and spend time together.
And at some point, she says, Corey, make my sister feel like a woman. I'm sorry. Maybe she did it for my best interest.
He came to me,
yeah.
and I said, do what you do. But anybody that was respectful would have said,
I just said,
you're
I didn't know how to respect myself.
Now, let's dissect the specific reasons for this family feud. Both sisters were not backing down. And amidst the chaos, allegations of an open relationship, strippers, and a casual do what you do were thrown right in. As if this wasn't complicated enough yet. Finger pointing continued though.
When her husband husband then approaches you, is there any part of you that just says, this woman has done, that's one thing I'm just not gonna do?
I tell her today that I'm still grateful for her. I did not go about our relationship the right way. Again, I was on drugs 15 years, so within a year's time, I didn't have everything perfected.
On to the birth certificate drama, and boy, was that full of arguments. Mr. Hill, the infamous husband, joined this family saga, and he had doubts too. Is that shocking? I don't think so. From missed opportunities to sign to mailing mishaps, the birth certificate was a ticking time bomb. Can't a family get their paperwork straight?
Are you on the birth certificate?
Unfortunately, no, I'm not.
No, he wouldn't sign it. He had to go to work.
That's not the case, ma'am.
He wouldn't. He was at the hospital every day and could have signed it at any time. It didn't have to be that particular day at that particular
Why
time.
didn't you sign the birth certificate?
I had to be to work within an hour. They came down for her to sign the papers. By the time they would go up and get the papers for me to sign, I would have already been at work.
Now, even though the defendant presented a united front, they had theory differences too. But man, those were nothing compared to the ones they both had. The judge stepped in with advice, but can these adults put their differences aside for the sake of a beautiful little girl?
There was a little boy, he's 15 years old. There's a little girl, she's 7 years old. We took a DNA sample. That is the truth.
That's the truth.
Let me stay on this issue. You also stated to the court, Ms. Hayes, that in all the years that you were together with Mr. Hill, he never got you pregnant.
No, and the other 25 women that he carried on with for long-term relationships.
Duh, this just gets messier and messier. While both sisters had their issues with each other, and a lot of them too, the love was still there. However, the mess continues as it gets revealed the plaintiff was married again to another person while being married to this one. What the heck was going on here, huh?
Where you have created some reasonably safe boundaries, like, okay, I'm okay that you're with my ex-husband now, but this is what we need to do.
It's not about a man.
For my baby.
It's not. Trust me, and it ain't about him.
So
I'm married to
this
somebody
isn't-
else.
so now you're married to someone else.
Divorce him. That's great. That's an upstanding deal.
Time to spill the beans on the real father. The results that will either reshape this family's destiny or drift them further apart. Let's see which way the dice rolled on this case.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Hill, you are her father.
I just want to say what I was back then, I'm not today, but I'm doing the best I can. And if God provided us with this blessing, I'm going to do my best.
Ms. Hubbard drags Mr. Watson Jr. to Judge Lauren's courtroom. She's furious that Mr. Watson Jr. has been neglecting his child support payments because he believes he's not the father of her 2-year-old daughter. The child expenses totaling over a period of 2 years to the tune of $2,150. Mr. Watson Jr. claims he's not the father of the child. He said that Ms. Hubbard lied to him throughout the pregnancy.
Ms. Hubbard, you've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove to Mr. Watson Jr. that he is the father of your 2-year-old daughter, Amiria Hubbard.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're also seeking 2 years' worth of child care expenses in the amount of $2,150.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Hubbard said she didn't lie about the pregnancy to Mr. Watson Jr. She said she got pregnant in February and she gave birth in November of the same year. She said Mr. Watson was aware of the pregnancy the whole time, but he was never around. She said he has never contributed anything towards the upkeep of the child. With tears in her eyes, she told the judge how she was taking care of her 5 kids and her disabled mother.
Did you lie about your pregnancy?
No, Your Honor. I told Mr. Watson when I got pregnant, when I conceived, when the last time we did have sex with each other, and that was in February of 2012, and I had her in November of 2012, and he knew about her the whole pregnancy. He didn't come around until like...
Ms. Hubbard said when she was pregnant with her child that Mr. Watson came around and took her somewhere, but he refused to give her money. She said she maced him. The whole courtroom, including the judge, gasped. She said she was angry with Mr. Watson. She said he was taunting her that he wouldn't give her any money, so she maced him from his head to his feet. Bursts of laughter erupted from some sections of the courtroom.
How hard has it been for you?
Very hard.
I see the tears in your eyes.
Yes, very hard.
Stop.
When I was pregnant with her, he came around and he was supposed to give me some money because I had took him somewhere. He didn't want to give me some gas money to take me in. When I took him somewhere for it, that was the last time that I...
Ms. Hubbard said Mr. Watson has 2 other kids he looks after, but not her own. Mr. Watson interrupted her and said she even sold some of his clothes. Ms. Hubbard said she sold the clothes to take care of his baby. Mr. Watson said that's not his baby. Mr. Watson came clean that he hasn't done anything for the child because he believes he's not the father.
And you're feeling so overwhelmed that when he said he wasn't going to give you the gas money he said, that just upset you so much that you...
It wasn't even about that. He played the whole game like he wanted to be there with me while I was pregnant with her. And he played the whole game the whole time I knew him. The whole back and forth game. He has two other children he does for her, but not mine.
After some heated back and forth between Mr. Watson and Ms. Hubbard, the judge asked Mr. Watson about his doubts concerning the period of pregnancy. Mr. Watson submitted a calendar to the courtroom. He said Ms. Hubbard told him she was 3 months pregnant in August. Then in October, she told him again that she was 3 months pregnant. He said that was when he started questioning the paternity of the child.
What does this calendar outline?
That ain't my baby.
Okay, I don't know if a calendar can prove that, but the DNA will.
Okay, like, all right, when she told
I got
me she was
pregnant February 14, 2012.
One at a time. I'm going to give you both a chance. Let him explain to me what his calendar outlines.
Ms. Hubbard said when she went to see the doctor in March, the doctor told her she conceived on Valentine's Day in February. She said she never told Mr. Watson she was 3 months pregnant in October. She said she was about having her child then, that Mr. Watson was lying. She said she told Mr. Watson about her pregnancy in March after confirming from the doctors.
Ms. Hubbard, can you explain this?
No.
Because I stayed with
when
my
I went to the doctor in March, when I missed my period for the next month, they told me I conceived on Valentine's Day. And I had my baby November the 17th, 2012.
But in October, when you told him you were pregnant the second time...
I didn't tell him in October I was pregnant.
Mr. Watson said he got a call in August from Ms. Hubbard that he was staying with his girl at the time. Ms. Hubbard curtly interrupted him. She said he was staying with his mother, not with any girl. Mr. Watson continued. He said Ms. Hubbard told him she was 3 months pregnant. He said then in October, Ms. Hubbard sent him an ultrasound, that the child in the ultrasound was ready to come out. He said the months were adding up.
She said she was pregnant in March?
She told me August. I got a call from her. I was staying with my girl.
No.
I got a call from her.
You staying with my mom, but you ain't never stayed with my girl.
She told me that she was pregnant. She was 3 months pregnant. I was like, oh, okay, so I know she probably be pregnant because we did have unprotected sex, so I rode with it.
Mr. Watson said he believed that Ms. Hubbard was lying the whole time, that her motive was to have his child. Ms. Hubbard interjected at the top of her voice that who does Mr. Watson thinks he is, that he doesn't even have any money. She said that Mr. Watson told her that he wants her to be the mother of his child, that he really likes her. She said that Mr. Watson was cheating during when they were together.
So you feel like she was lying?
The whole time.
And her motive to lie is what?
Because she wanted to have a baby by me.
Who are you?
She told me.
You don't have no money. You're not even taking care of her, isn't it? He told me he wanted me to be his baby mama. He really liked me. That's how it started.
Mr. Watson submitted a diary that belongs to Ms. Hubbard to the courtroom. He said the diary proves that Ms. Hubbard was, and still is, a freak. He said the diary shows the other men she had slept with. Ms. Hubbard said she kept the diary when she was a teenager, not as an adult. Another argument broke out between them. Only the DNA test can put an end to this squabble.
Mr. Watson, you are Amaria's father.
Deadbeat. Like I told you. Nope.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Puckett brings Mr. Macon to Judge Lauren's courtroom. She claims that Mr. Macon got her pregnant while he was still living with his current girlfriend, who was also present in court. She said that Mr. Macon got both of them pregnant around the same time. Now they both have 2-year-old sons named Stephen Macon Jr. Mr. Macon claims that he's not the father of Ms. Puckett's child.
Ms. Puckett, you claim the defendant, Stephen Macon, fathered your child while in a relationship with his current girlfriend, Ms. Glover.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim you can prove he got you pregnant at the same time, and now you both have 2-year-old children named Stephen Macon Jr.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Macon said that Ms. Puckett already has 5 kids fathered by 5 different men. He said when he had sex with Miss Puckett that he used protection, and he was with Ms. Glover at the time. Ms. Glover rolled her eyes in a mocking manner. Mr. Macon said that Ms. Puckett tattooed his name on her neck 3 weeks after meeting her. Ms. Puckett refuted the statement.
She got 5 kids by 5 different baby dads.
And you could be the 6th.
No, I ain't. If we ain't have sex till like 3 months after, I wouldn't even have sex.
But you did have sex
me
with her.
and Ms. Glover, we wasn't together at the time.
Did you use protection?
Yes.
Ms. Puckett said when she found out she was pregnant after taking a pregnancy test, she called Mr. Macon. She said she didn't know that Mr. Macon had an on and off girlfriend at the time. Ms. Puckett said they were dating, that Mr. Macon treated her well, and bought her stuff. She said when she was pregnant that Mr. Macon was rubbing on her belly, excited and all. She submitted a picture to the court to buttress her point. Mr. Macon didn't deny it.
Did you know he had a girlfriend that he was off and on with?
No.
So in your mind, what was this thing you all had?
Well, we was dating. He was treating me real good. He buy me stuff. He gave me money when I needed it. He said, he'd say if I need anything, my kids anything, he'd do for them. When I was pregnant, he was rubbing on my belly like he was happy and he was concerned about it.
Mr. Macon said that Ms. Puckett was sleeping around with a whole lot of other people. He said some of his friends used to spend the night over at Ms. Puckett's house. Ms. Puckett said that it was not true. Mr. Macon said he didn't have sex with Ms. Puckett until 3 months after he met her. He said that Ms. Puckett, on the other hand, wanted to have sex every single day.
It's not my child. No, she was sleeping around with a whole lot of people. I know it for.
Do you have any proof of that? Did you bring the court anything? Did you hear anything? Did you talk to someone? Did you see her? Did you catch her?
My own friends, they used to spend the night over there. Like, it wasn't nothing.
Your friends used to spend the night over her house?
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Ms. Puckett said that last week before they appeared in court that Mr. Macon sent her a message on Facebook that if they eventually found out that he was the father, that he would move in with her and her child. Mr. Macon burst out laughing, tapping Ms. Glover, who gave out a muffled smirk. Ms. Puckett submitted a picture of the text message she received, and it was read aloud to the courtroom. Mr. Macon reluctantly agreed that he sent it.
Oh,
Yes, he said me, her baby, and my kids, we all gonna move in together if it was his. Then he sent me another one, said if it was his, it'd come out to be his, and we was gonna make love to the sunrise.
Ms. Puckett submitted a document to the court showing that Mr. Macon signed the birth certificate of her child. Mr. Macon said he didn't sign any birth certificate. The judge said the court called the hospital, and they said that before signing the birth certificate, the father must provide a social security number. Mr. Macon said he didn't submit anything, that Ms. Puckett could have forged his name.
Certificate of live birth, child's name, Stephen Terrence Macon Jr., father, co-parents, current legal name, Stephen Terrence Macon. Is that you, sir?
No, I ain't saying that. No.
You know, this court understands that sometimes we get a little less than the truth from the plaintiffs and the defendants. So the court called the hospital in your home state where Ms. Puckett delivered.
Ms. Glover was called to give her version of events. She said that she doesn't believe that Mr. Macon is the father of Ms. Puckett's child. She said that Ms. Puckett was lying when she said she wasn't aware that she was in the picture. She said she confronted Mr. Macon after an incident involving Ms. Puckett's friends and her at her place of work, but Mr. Macon denied it.
Do you believe Ms. Puckett's child, Stephen Macon Jr., is in fact your boyfriend's biological child?
No, I don't believe that at all.
Why?
Can I start from the beginning?
Please
Her
do.
sitting here saying that she didn't know about me. Let me tell you, I was at work. I worked at a gas station.
Ms. Glover said she answered Mr. Macon's call one fateful day, and it was Ms. Puckett. She introduced herself and said that Mr. Macon was sleeping with her. Ms. Glover said she decided to pay her a visit. She went over there and knocked at her door, and she heard people scrambling inside. She said that Ms. Puckett locked the door. She told Ms. Puckett that she might as well come outside for both of them to talk.
So I knock on her door. Who's there? I hear rumbling, doom, 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 doom. I hear folks doing backflips, body jumps, and everything behind the door, okay? Next
She
thing I
knocked
know,
on my
I
door
hear
like
you.
she was
I said, I
security or
hear you.
something.
I said, I hear you. I said, open the door, and saying, no, click, click. The lock, she didn't hit the lock. She got smart.
Ms. Puckett said she was at home on that day, but she didn't open the door because of the aggressiveness of the knock by Ms. Glover, and she had kids at home. A heated argument broke out between both women, with Ms. Glover's voice being the loudest. The judge had to step in to pacify the situation. The entire courtroom clapped. Only the DNA results can put out the flames brewing like a Molotov cocktail in the courtroom.
Mr. Macon Sr., you are his father.
You know what? You sent her that text message talking about some that's your baby, that y'all can go have sex on into the sunlight.
Mr. Hodges, alongside his mother, drags Ms. Willard to court. Mr. Hodges claims that he's not the father of Ms. Willard's child. He said that Ms. Willard is a liar and a cheater, and he plans to prove it. Ms. Willard, also alongside her own mother, claims that she's 1,000% sure that Mr. Hodges is the father of her child.
Mr. Hodges, you and your mom opened your case today because you both say that the defendant is a liar and a cheater. You don't believe you fathered her 1-month-old daughter, Lillian Willard, and plan to prove that today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hodges said that Ms. Willard cheated on him and he caught her with multiple guys. He said when they first got together that Ms. Willard promised that she would never hurt him. Ms. Willard said she never cheated, that she had a guy visitor, a childhood friend. She said she didn't tell Mr. Hodges because of how insecure he was. She said she met Mr. Hodges through a family member.
She cheated on me and I caught her with multiple guys. She had one hidden in the room And whenever we first got together, she said that she would never hurt me or cheat on me. She would be truthful, and yet she's lied to me left and right.
Miss Willard, you kept lying and you kept cheating?
No, I did not.
Mr. Hodges said she, Ms. Willard, had a one-night stand with a family member of his, and he was there to comfort her. He said they kept talking with each other for a week or so before getting together. Mr. Hodges' mom, Ms. Devlin, said she was the one that encouraged her son to pursue a DNA test because she knew that Ms. Willard was cheating on her son.
Oh, you met her after she had a one-night stand with another guy, and then she cried on your shoulder, and then you and she got together.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Blevins, I understand that you are the one who pushed your son to open this case.
Yes, Your Honor.
And why did you do that?
Because I knew that she had been cheating on him. He had caught her.
Mr. Hodges said he found the man hiding in Ms. Willard's mother's bedroom when he got there. Ms. Willard's mother, Ms. Sonia, said she helped in hiding the man in her room because she didn't want any drama to occur. The entire courtroom gasped. Ms. Sonia said her daughter and Mr. Hodges had broken up at the time. She said that Mr. Hodges has a temper. Mr. Hodges said they were engaged at the time. This was confirmed by Ms. Willard.
You found him hiding in the house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hiding in the house where?
In her mother's bedroom.
But Your Honor.
Did you help hide the other guy in your bedroom when Mr. Hodges came?
They had broke up.
So why you have to hide anybody?
Because she didn't want him to know. She didn't want to hurt him. She didn't want to start no trouble because Hardy's got a temper.
Well, we was engaged.
Ms. Devlin chipped in that Ms. Willard was already married when she got engaged to her son, and her son wasn't aware. The whole courtroom jeered. Ms. Willard didn't deny it. Ms. Devlin said she had always been wary of Ms. Willard, that she was sneaky and she was getting messages from other guys.
Now that makes more sense. When your fiance came in the house, then you hid this other guy in the...
Because I didn't want to fight to start. And Your Honor, she was already married when they got engaged that my son didn't know about.
So you were engaged to Mr. Hodges, but you were married to another guy at the time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Devlin submitted text message evidence showing that Ms. Willard was dating another man at the same time as her son. Ms. Devlin said the man was at the hospital when the child was born. Ms. Willard confirmed this. Ms. Sonia interjects that the man is saying that because he wants her daughter, that she has had a back and forth with the person before.
How did you find him?
It's the guy that was with her when Lillian was born at the hospital.
Do you have those messages?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me have those. Jerome, can you please bring me those messages? Thank you. Ms. Blevins says, I do understand my son was engaged to her and caught her cheating.
Ms. Willard said that the child in question wasn't her only child. Ms. Devlin said she hid that fact from them also. The judge listed all the things Ms. Willard had hidden from Mr. Hodges: a man, a marriage, a child. Mr. Hodges nodded his head in agreement. Mr. Hodges said he found out about the pregnancy after she was already 8 months in. He said he texted her every day to ask about the doctor's appointment.
She hid that from us too, at first.
Back it up. Back it up. So she hid that she had a husband before she met you, and you were engaged to her when she really already had a husband. She hid that she had had a child, and she also hid a man in her mother's house when you came over.
Yes, Your Honor.
After being caught in her own web of lies, Ms. Willard said that Mr. Hodges is married now, and she didn't want to destroy his marriage. She said the reason she kept quiet before was because she was living with the other guy, and she hoped to keep living with the other guy, but they broke up. That's why she told Mr. Hodges that she was pregnant.
This is too much lying.
I know.
This is just too much lying. Now, I heard about 5 lies already. What is going on? Why are you texting him like the baby isn't born when the baby is born?
Okay, he's married now, and I just didn't want to break up a marriage when he found out he had a kid by another person.
Ms. Willard, with tears in her eyes, said all she wanted was a family. The judge took the floor after sensing that an argument might break out. Ms. Devlin said she doesn't have any bad feelings towards Ms. Willard, that she just wants to find out who the baby belongs to. Ms. Willard was still crying in the background. Mr. Hodges said he hopes that the child will be his. Only the DNA result can put this to an amicable end.
Mr. Hodges, you are the father. We have the answer we needed, and it was actually the answer all of you wanted.
Mr. Hughes brings his mother and his ex-girlfriend to court. He said they're stuck in a heated argument. Ms. Macbeth, Mr. Hughes' mother, petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that her son is not the father of Ms. Jackson's 2-year-old son. She's also suing Ms. Jackson for $1,000 for defamation of character. She claims Ms. Jackson posted comments on social media that she and her family are deadbeats. Ms. Jackson disagrees with her claims.
McBirth Terrell versus Jackson.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Hughes, you say you're stuck between your mother and your ex-girlfriend who are in a heated dispute in court today. Ms. McBirth, you petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove your son, Kakitho Hughes, is not the father of Ms. Jackson's 2-year-old son.
Ms. McBeth said Ms. Jackson is trouble with a capital T. She said she's trash, trouble, and trifling. The entire courtroom gasped. She said Ms. Jackson's child looked nothing like her son or any members of her family. She said the child had no features like her son. She submitted a picture of the child and her son to corroborate her point.
Paternity test will prove you right. So, Ms. McBirth, why do you believe your son's not the father?
This woman is trouble. She is trouble with a capital T. She, as a matter of fact, I call her the 3 T's. Trash, trouble, and trifling. That's what she is. The little boy looks nothing like my son or any member of my family at all. Can I show it? Can I?
Absolutely, ma'am. What did you bring? Piece of evidence, Jerome, may I see that, please?
Ms. Jackson said she had no idea why Ms. McBeth had so much doubt about the paternity of her child. She said maybe because the child was white. Ms. McBeth chipped in. She said the baby was white, with no single trace of black in him. Ms. Jackson said she was only intimate with Mr. Hughes during the course of their 18 months relationship. Ms. McBeth said she's lying. She said it repeatedly.
I have no idea, to be honest. Like, maybe because he is so white?
Because he's all the white. He ain't got no black in him. Everything I see got powder puff on it. I don't see no chocolate nowhere, okay?
No, ma'am.
Whatever.
Let me understand this relationship. So how long have you been in a relationship with...
Mr. Hughes' sister, who was also present in court, said that Ms. Jackson was a vampire and a drive-by. She said that Mr. Hughes was in a committed relationship of 10 years, that they didn't know Ms. Jackson. Ms. McBeth said he has 2 little babies, and those are her grandchildren. The sister continued, she said that Ms. Jackson was just a side chick, and she has been trying to put her child on them.
Has been in our life. She's never was a girlfriend. You are a vampire. You are just a fly-by-night. We didn't know anything about you. He's been in a relationship for 10 years. So
Mr. Hughes has.
10 years.
In 10 years.
He's been by another woman. And those are my...
Ms. McBeth said that Ms. Jackson has to get the thought out of her head that the child is not her grandchild. Mr. Hughes' sister said when Ms. Jackson was pregnant, she asked her if she knew or if she thought her brother was responsible for it. Ms. Jackson said she thinks he is. The sister continued. She said they asked Ms. Jackson for a DNA test while she was pregnant and she agreed, but after giving birth, she was no longer forthcoming.
That child is not my son's baby, period.
Well, let me first, of course, state the obvious, which I'm hoping you know as well, being African American. You know our children come in all colors, shades.
Elijah
she told me he was white. She told me she didn't know who the father was.
Mr. Hughes' sister, Ms. Temmel, said the child also had Ms. Jackson's ex-husband's name. Ms. Jackson said that's because the name was also her own last name. Ms. McBeth said her son's name wasn't on the birth certificate. Ms. Temmel said that nobody's name was on the birth certificate. A heated argument broke out between the 3 women. The judge had to step in to restore order. Ms. McBeth said she was tired of hookers dropping babies and claiming that her son was responsible for it. She turned to Ms. Jackson and shouted that her son is not responsible for her child. Ms. Jackson said that it was a lie. Ms. Temmel said that Ms. Jackson was a liar and a cheat, that one of her wild parties was shut down by the police 2 weeks ago. Ms. Jackson refuted the claims that Ms. Temmel was lying.
He's not here. No, that's a lie. You know exactly where he was at, and he had no. If she truly wanted him to take a DNA test, she could have had it done, but she didn't want to. Plus, the baby has her ex-husband's last name.
That's because that's my last name.
And so hold on now. If you don't think the child is his, why would she be trying to change the name?
Well, we've been trying to change the name a couple weeks ago. Even we talked about it.
He's two years.
My son ain't said
his
no lie
name's
like
not even
that.
on the birth certificate.
Stop lying.
Okay.
Whose name is on the birth certificate?
Mr. Hughes said he gave Ms. Jackson the benefit of the doubt because he is biracial. He said his father is white. There were jeers and clapping around the courtroom. Ms. McBeth said that the child does not belong to her son. Ms. Temmel said Mr. Hughes told them last night that that wasn't his baby. Mr. Hughes denied this.
You are Elijah's father.
I just gave him the benefit of the doubt because I'm biracial. My father's white, so
That child is not my son, okay? Yeah. She got men coming and going in and out of her house.
Mr. Hughes said he has heard the child call another man Dad a few times. He said that Ms. Jackson was also with another biracial man before him. He said that Ms. Jackson throws a lot of doubt into the whole situation. Ms. McBeth said she was tired of taking care of babies on behalf of her son. The defamation case was dismissed due to lack of evidence. Only the DNA results can end this dispute.
pertaining to 2-year-old Elijah Jackson, and whether Mr. Hughes is the father. Mr. Hughes, you are Elijah's father.
This courtroom was a war zone before the judge even had a chance to speak. 3 sisters, all boiling with years of resentment, lined up against their own mother, who stood across from them, unbothered, at least on the surface, but beneath that cool exterior, guilt, regret. The youngest had lived her entire life as the family's outcast, and now she was here to finally get answers. Her mother, Ms. Liddell, never seemed eager to clearly pleading innocent. She had abandoned her daughters, moved them around, and made choices no child should have to suffer from, but now, with her back against the wall, she wouldn't just roll over and take the blame. If she thought that would calm things down, she was dead wrong. Revealed the moment that shattered her faith in her mother. A chance encounter at a gas station, just a regular day. A stranger recognized her mother and called out her name. But when Ms. Liddell turned around, she had no clue who he was. How does a mother forget the man who fathered her child?
And Lisa, what information did you have?
Well, I had my doubts, like when I was extremely little young. Me and Jasmine went to go see her father because he was, away. That was my first time ever seeing him. And that day when I saw him, I'm knowing,
And yet, here they were. Lisa had been carrying the weight of that moment for years, and today she was dumping it right at her mother's feet. But Ms. Liddell, she barely flinched. She admitted it. She had no idea who fathered Lisa, Jamie, or Jasmine. Could be one man, could Williams. The man they had all been told was their father appeared via video call. He didn't believe he was their father. Not even close. He had always had doubts, especially given their mother's past. And the worst part? He wasn't wrong to question it. Years of rejection, suspicion, and neglect exploded in the courtroom. Shouting, insults, tears, the kind of raw, unfiltered pain that even the most seasoned judge couldn't ignore. Judge Lake had seen messy cases before, but this was a different level of dysfunction.
You've never
was right. Judge Lake slammed her gavel and took control. Time for the truth. Only the results could resolve this. All eyes locked on her as she held the envelope. Is James the biological father of the 3 women? Hearts pounded, breath hitched.
Mr. Williams, you are her father.
He did like that. He straight dropped his head like, oh.
It was out of happiness.
When it comes to Ms. Lisa Williams, Mr. Williams, you are not her father. When it comes to Ms. Jamie Williams, Mr. Williams, you are not her father.
Wilson was adamant he was the father, but Mr. Phillips wasn't buying it. He pointed at her history, her shady nights out, and most of all, a certain co-worker named Mr. Garcia, the man she kissed in a club, the man she went on trips with, the same man Mr. Phillips claimed looked exactly like. Mr. Phillips had his own reasons for doubt. He wasn't just making this up. He had proof, or at least what he believed to be proof. Hope's features were a dead giveaway, he argued. She had the same look as his biracial son. They have the same skin tone and the same features. It wasn't just in his head, he was sure of it.
This is my friend. He's holding my daughter in his arms. Yes.
And you think he's the father?
Judge Lake wasn't interested in the back and forth of their past. This wasn't a show about relationships. It was about paternity. Who was Hope's father? Ms. Wilson had her own receipts. Yes, she had been around Mr. Garcia. But did that mean they did anything? She was sick of Mr. Phillips controlling the narrative. She had tried to build something real with him, but it always felt like she was competing with the ghosts of his past. The fact that he was still holding on to them, even now, unbelievable.
So you move in with Mr. Phillips.
Yes.
And you all have a conversation and you say, you know what? I'm pregnant.
Judge Lake was thrilled about the whole story. Well, who wouldn't be? She called in Garcia, Ms. Wilson's friend. Mr. Garcia maintains that Mr. Phillips is the father and that the most intimate thing he ever did with Ms. Wilson was kiss her, and that was because she was teaching him how to kiss. Nothing romantic. But none of this changed the fact that there was a child involved. Hope needed answers. Judge Lake had heard enough. It was time. The courtroom held its breath as she revealed the results.
And whether Mr. Phillips or Mr. Garcia is her father, Mr. Phillips, you are her father.
One day, Chanel Craig was a little girl clinging to the only father she knew. The next, her aunt was telling her to stop because, surprise, that wasn't her dad. But the confusion didn't stop there. Years later, another man entered the picture. This time her mother introduced him as her real father. But was he?
You say that today is your last hope in discovering your true identity. Now you state that one question continually haunts you. Is the man you've been calling dad for most of your life?
Chanel had spent her entire life piecing together a puzzle that no one seemed to have the answers to. Her mother, Janelle Craig, admitted she had been with multiple men at the time of conception, but she was confident about one thing. This man, Mr. Thompson, was the father. In fact, she had confronted him years ago, right in front of his wife.
How did you meet him?
I was getting out the foster home with my sister. We went to go stay with my mom and my aunt at the time. My dad came around. I was like, okay, where's the other man at? And they was like, well, this is your dad right here.
Miss Craig, who's this man she thought was her father?
That was the current boyfriend, and he knew he wasn't the father.
However, there was one little problem. Mr. Thompson did not remember. He doesn't agree. He is not the father. Chanel had spent her childhood bouncing in and out of foster homes, searching for stability, searching for identity. Then, at 10 years old, she was told that Mr. Thompson was her father, just like that.
We have a 10-year-old kid together.
Okay, so you remember this day?
No, I do not.
So how did you find out that
I
Chanel...
remember seeing Chanel when Chanel was a baby. She was a small little baby. She was one, but I came out of prison. She was a little baby.
He remembered visiting baby Chanel at her grandmother's house after getting out of prison. He looked at her, and the doubt crept in. Was this really his child? He wasn't convinced, and he told Janelle. But Janelle? Oh, she wasn't trying to hear that. She stuck to her story. He was the father. C'est fini.
Did you believe this is my child?
No.
Oh.
I didn't. That's what I told her mother.
And
You're
so
lying. You never told me that. And I don't even believe you went to my mama's house. Where was she living at the time?
So, for years, Mr. Thompson stayed away. He wasn't trying to play dad to a child he wasn't sure was his. But then, one phone call changed everything. Chanel's aunt reached out, and just like that, he came back. Because deep down, he knew there was a chance. But their relationship was strained, awkward even.
She wouldn't come with me alone. I just felt like that. I wanted to spend time with her. She didn't want to spend time with me. She wanted to bring other people, and I couldn't deal with that.
You can understand.
Yeah.
That's...
And her mother? She wasn't any better. Janelle claims she raised Chanel on her own and played the role of both mom and dad. But Mr. Thompson fired back. How could she claim that when she wasn't even around? The real caregiver? Chanel's aunt.
That's mother and daughter, but how do you come in from being gone 7 years and say, oh, you can come?
Dude, but you gotta look at, I took care of her when you wasn't. You wasn't around.
You weren't either.
around with these things all
I
day.
played both parts. What are you talking about?
And this is what I go through.
The entire situation was a mess, and the tension in the courtroom was thick. Janelle and Mr. Thompson were throwing accusations back and forth like a game of hot potato. Lies, betrayal, abandonment. It was all laid out for the world to see. And through it all, Chanel sat there, the only person who had everything to lose.
So you came out of the foster care system and you were living with...
Yes.
And all this time, you think Mr. Thompson is your father?
Yes, but when I got back in touch with him, he was telling me that he was saying that he didn't think I was his.
Yes, there was another man. And yet another man. She had ruled the second man out because a DNA test had concluded that he wasn't the father. So even though she saw similarities between her and the man, she had to accept the results. But now she's angry.
Are you asking your mother? Are you upset with your mother?
I'm mad at him because they should have got it done when I was born, and they didn't get it done. He came back into my life when I was 10.
At the end of the day, this wasn't about Janelle. It wasn't about Mr. Thompson. It was about Chanel. And then, finally, the moment of truth arrived. Judge Lake held the envelope in her hands. The room was dead silent. Was Mr. Thompson really Chanel's father?
Mr. Thompson is not your father.
Sorry, Neil. You can give me a hug. It don't matter. I'm still your dad. I'm sorry. Sorry.
The courtroom was filled with tension as Mrs. King Rajat stood on the witness stand, her voice trembling with emotion. She was here to prove one thing. Her daughter Destiny was her husband, Mr. Rajot's biological child.
Mr. Rajot, you claim your wife had an affair.
For Mrs. Rajat, the very thought that her husband would deny their daughter was eating away at her. She described the painful experience of seeing her husband shower affection on their other children while Destiny was treated like a stranger in her own home. His denial, she argued, wasn't just an attack on their daughter, it was tearing their family apart.
Tell the court why
he doesn't interact like he does with our other children.
But Mr. Rajat wasn't backing down. He claimed that the child wasn't his, and his doubts were fueled by one thing: Destiny's striking appearance. Unlike the rest of the family, with their brown hair and eyes, Destiny had blonde hair and blue eyes. Mr. Rajot argued that there was no way she could be his.
You're a liar.
Mrs. Rajat shot back. suggesting that Mr. Rougeau didn't know his own family's history. She mentioned that he had been a foster child, unaware of the genetic traits further back in his bloodline that might explain Destiny's appearance. But Mr. Rougeau remained firm in his belief that Destiny didn't belong to him.
Okay, but he also is failing to tell you at the moment that he was a foster child, so he doesn't know all of the family. So maybe somebody about his family he doesn't know.
But Mrs. Rajat had her own evidence. She insisted she hadn't cheated, no matter what her husband believed. She admitted to talking to a man from her past, but she swore on her love for Mr. Rajat that their talk together had been platonic. In words, Mr. Rajat was certain she had betrayed him. He recounted a text message from her phone to an old childhood friend and an alleged night out with another man, both instances enough to fuel his accusations of infidelity. In his eyes, the possibility of cheating was real. It seemed like the situation was spiraling into a chaotic back and forth of accusations. Mrs. Rajat accused her husband of being unfaithful, citing the time she had discovered he had an STD while pregnant with their first child.
That actually, Mr. Rougeau has been the person that's been unfaithful in this marriage. So please tell us, how do you know that?
Well, our first child.
While he denied cheating with her family members, she believed otherwise. She thought he had a secret, and it was even rumored that he'd been involved with her sister. Her accusations were bold and personal, and the courtroom was on edge as she questioned whether he'd betrayed her with someone closer to home. As the court prepared to reveal the results of both the paternity test and the lie detector test, you could feel the air thicken as everyone waited for the results, the tension building to a breaking point. Mrs. Rajata's face was a mix of hope and fear, while Mr. Rajat stood, his eyes never leaving the judge.
Mr. Rougeau cheated on your husband. He did not sleep with any of your family.
Ms. Lima came to court claiming that Mr. Anderson, yes, the same Mr. Anderson who was standing beside his devastated wife, was the father of her baby. She admitted she made a terrible mistake, but insisted it was a mistake they both made. Because, surprise, surprise, he never mentioned his wife.
You admit to making a huge mistake and hope it doesn't affect your baby Christina. You had an affair with Mr. Anderson, who is married, and believe he's your daughter's father.
Mr. Anderson, on the other hand, was clinging to the idea that this was just a one-night slip-up, a single night of weakness after an argument with his wife, nothing more. He swore that after that night, he'd never see her again. But Ms. Lima, she wasn't having it.
And you're hoping you're not father today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Lima, tell us how you got yourself into this mess.
Yes, Your Honor. It all started from a Facebook message when Mr. Anderson was messaging me on Facebook. So we started being friends online for about 1.5 years.
That's when Mrs. Anderson's face fell. The reality of it all hit her like a freight train. This wasn't just some fleeting mistake. This was betrayal, deep and ongoing. And the audience? They gasped, they cringed, and they watched as Mr. Anderson squirmed under the weight of his own lies.
So before this, did you know he was married?
No, I did not know he was married. He did not show any signs of marriage or anything.
Mr. Anderson, was this true?
I'm just sorry, Your Honor. I just want to say I'm sorry to my wife and my family and my kids.
Anderson, now cornered, can barely keep his story straight. First, he insists it was just one night, just a one-time slip-up. But Lima, unrelenting, fires back, exposing the truth. She was at his house more than once, knew all about his family, and even described the furniture in their home.
You say this only happened this one night.
One night. It was a one-night stand.
You never saw her again?
Never saw her again.
Ms. Lima?
That's wrong, Your Honor. That's wrong.
How often would you see Mr. Anderson?
We've seen each other for 2 years, every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays.
He admits they did, in fact, spend several weekends together, but now he's trying to backpedal, insisting he's a family man, and the tension in the room is unbearable. His wife, sitting beside him, can barely keep it together as she listens to the truth about her husband's betrayal.
Stating that this continued past just one night.
Oh my God.
That's a yes.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Anderson, I'm going to remind you, you are in court, and you need to tell the truth.
Then came the real bombshell. Ms. Lima admitted she hadn't only been with Mr. Anderson during the time of conception, there was another man. Oh, but it didn't stop there. She and Mr. Anderson had been intimate again while she was already pregnant. Now it was getting messy.
And when you find out you're pregnant, who do you tell?
I went to Mr. Anderson at first. I went to his family at first. I couldn't contact him, so I went to his family, and I got rejected by them. So I was like, well, you know, that really hurted me. So I was just like, well, let me move to the other person that I had sex with during that time.
Oh, hold on. Let me understand this.
The lies keep piling up, and everything starts to look like a tangled mess of bad decisions. Anderson's wife, visibly shaken, can barely hold it together. She's been with him for over a decade, building a life together, and now everything seems to be crumbling before her, and yet she can't seem to get the truth from him.
Testimony you heard today been different from the understanding you've had?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please explain.
Once we messaged each other, I asked her for her phone number because I want to talk on the phone. You understand? And when she was telling me the things that she was telling me.
Soon enough, Mr. Scott, the other man in the question, was ushered in. The man, Mr. Scott, told the court how everything went down from the time he took flowers to meet Ms. Lima to when she told him that she was pregnant.
3 months later, she was already about 2.5, 3 months pregnant when she told me that she was pregnant.
And she told you herself?
Yes, Your Honor.
And when she told you, did you think this is my baby?
At first I did, until she started telling me about...
Ms. Lima had told the court that either of these two men is the father of her baby, and now there's no more room for doubt, no more lies left to tell. And then, the moment everyone has been waiting for, the DNA test results.
Mr. Scott, you are not her father.
You just stay right here.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are not her father.
Moments gone wrong on paternity court.
As a matter of fact, there's a possibility he has a child by this that he cheated on me with before.
That's not true, Your Honor. She says that I've retracted the mommy syndrome.
Because anybody he's ever cheated on me with was a and they've been anywhere from 10 to 20 years older than him. That's mommy syndrome.
You were kissing in the club?
I was.
Were you kissing?
She was showing me how to kiss.
I'm a good teacher.
Mr. Rajette was suspicious of his wife's fidelity, claiming she had a fling while he was away. Now he's playing detective, demanding a paternity test, claiming that he has been nothing other than a messiah to his wife.
I'm here today to prove to my husband that our daughter Destiny is in fact his. It is tearing our family apart pieces by pieces because he denies her.
What does he...
Mrs. King Rajette steps up, tears flowing, desperate to prove that Destiny is Mr. Rajette's spawn. She spills the beans on his different treatment. Like Destiny's The Black Sheep, Mr. Rajette throws in a family tree playing Mendel with hair and eye colors. Trust me, it gets crazier.
Meet up and go out later on that night. And he actually had showed me the phone and said to take a look at the phone. That was enough for me, you know. And another time on top of that, I seen the phone myself.
Oh boy, we're entering the he said, she said zone. Mrs. King Rajette accuses Mr. Rajette of flirting with her family members. And guess what? The drama. Get ready for a really surprising situation. Miss Sanders discovered she put the wrong guy's name on her son Caleb's birth certificate. Now she's trying to fix the mistake and saying Mr. Brady is actually Caleb's dad. What does Mr. What Brady have to say about all this?
The first thing is the green eyes. No one in my family has green eyes. May I show you, Your Honor?
Yes.
Starting with my grandparents. My grandma don't have green eyes. My granddaddy don't got green eyes. My mama or my daddy. Her either, obviously. Me, I definitely don't have green eyes. I'm trying to figure out where these green eyes come from that's on this baby.
They begin arguing about Caleb's eye color. Mr. Brady insists nobody in his family has green eyes, making it impossible for the boy to be his son. What really bothers Mr. Brady, though, is that Miss Sanders never told him about the boy? Mystery, isn't it?
You're saying she didn't even inform you that she was pregnant.
She told me in the beginning.
Then when is this time you had to pop up at the house?
This was after the baby was born.
Okay, so why didn't you go to an appointment, participate?
I initially tried to go to the appointments, Your Honor.
He was playing me from the left because I didn't want to be with him no more. So he got mad because I got back with my ex.
It appears that Mr. Brady doesn't mind being the father. His real concern is that Miss Sanders had several guys visiting her, and he's surprised to be the only one possibly connected to Caleb. The question is whether they were ever in a serious relationship or just fooling around.
He said he don't want me, but he constantly texts my phone, somebody so what's up?
I come to the house, dudes coming and going all the time. Like, I left her house.
How you gonna tell me that dudes coming and going, but you
I
not?
left her house and the dude came through, the same dude who she was texting.
How you gonna get
came through while I was pulling off.
So you telling me that if you see somebody with your girlfriend, you ain't gonna get mad and try to fight?
You wasn't my girlfriend, you just, we was broken up.
Later on, Miss Sanders opens up about her challenging pregnancy. The baby had a cyst in his brain, and doctors suspected Down syndrome. Mr. Brady claims he never supported her during this difficult period. and the reasons were clear, right?
He never even cared. I don't think he cared about was some shoes. When I first told him that I was pregnant, I called Mr. Brady and I told him, I said, I'm pregnant. I want to let you know. He just sat on the phone, didn't say anything. I'm saying, hello.
She let another man sign the birth certificate.
Yes, I did let another man sign the birth certificate, but when I first told him I was pregnant, when the doctor told me the times, and when I was with him.
What truly shocked Mr. Brady was when another man signed the birth certificate. This seems like clear evidence that Miss Sanders might be pulling him into a tricky situation to make him a part of some paternity issue. But when her ex signed the certificate, what went down?
So after me and him stopped talking, I got back with my ex. And my ex, he was real understanding. He was just saying, you know, we just gonna work through this. We gonna have this baby. We gonna do what we have to do. And he was the one who was actually there when I had my baby. So yes, he did sign the birth certificate, but we got DNA test out that he was not the father anyway.
She was gonna deliver.
All right, according to Miss Sanders, the man who's already on the birth certificate isn't the father. Well, we might have relief there. Or we are just walking ourselves into another moment gone wrong on paternity court. Only DNA results will tell us.
In the case of Sanders versus Brady, it has been determined by this court, you are not.
I told her that wasn't my baby, Sit
down.
I told her.
Sit down over there. Stand right where you're standing.
I know it wasn't mine. 100% positive.
Can someone just save Miss Sanders from the embarrassment? You did this to yourself, and now there's no turning back. Let's just see if she was really speechless after the results, or she had to say something.
Miss Sanders, he said he was positive.
I really don't understand.
So it's not your ex's, it's not his.
It was no one else. It was no one else.
Had to be.
It was no one else.
It has to be somebody else.
It has to be one other person at least. Obviously, you have some thinking to do because there is at least one other man.
Miss Bracknell was stuck between two men, her ex-lover and her fiancé, both claiming to have fathered her 2-month-old daughter, Cara. Now, isn't she lucky? She got 2 men willing to pay that child support. Oh boy, let's just dig right into the case.
She had told me when we were breaking up, she said, thank you for the gift. And I said, what gift was that?
And it wasn't until later that you found out she was pregnant.
That is correct.
And then when you found that out, you thought to yourself, was that the gift?
The baby?
Yeah, you thought
My daughter, yes.
All right. Sounds kind of promising, isn't it? Mr. Butterfield claimed that the baby mama had hidden the pregnancy for about 8 months. And finally, when the baby was born, she claims he's not the father. How about a little explanation, Miss Bracknell?
Honestly, I didn't find out until 3 months after I did move out of his house. I was having irregular periods, so I just let it go for a minute. I'm not really a doctor person. I don't.
So you didn't go to the doctors for how long?
What you're saying is when this relationship ended, you didn't know you were pregnant?
No.
According to the baby mama, she wasn't even sure if she's pregnant or not. What? She then claims that Cara had all the features of her fiancé, Mr. Dallas, and he seems pretty convinced too. But according to Mr. Butterfield, Miss Bracknell was still having intimate moments with him after she had moved out from the house. Now, that's a nagging twist. Seems like someone was cheating, isn't it? But she denied it. How about a memory jog, everyone?
So,
in the middle of
you say Cara was conceived in mid-September, and she was born in June.
Yes, ma'am.
And she ended the relationship with Mr. Butterfield at the end of August. So you're saying if we count back, there's no way Mr. Butterfield is Cara's biological father?
Yes, ma'am.
But wait, Miss Bracknell also had 3 other kids by Mr. Dallas. Talk about a lot was already at stake here. And the relationship might have a chance of going in the dark. How about we ask the fiancé about this?
I love her the same. You know what? With this, he's actually made our family stronger than trying to push us apart what he's been trying to do. That's good. I'm not trying to get her back. I'm just trying to be in my daughter's life. Yeah, you named her. Yeah, from what I hear, you named her after what? Your grandma? And she got your last name? That'll change very soon. No.
Oh, no, it won't.
Cara Christine Dallas is what it's going to stick with. No.
All right, since we have that part cleared out, but here's a quick reminder, Mr. Dallas, it's easier said than done. Well, now only time will tell. So, here are the DNA results that solve the equation in this paternity triangle.
It has been determined by this court. Cara's biological father is Mr. Butterfield.
What did I tell you?
Oh boy, now that's one awkward moment to face. What a cunning move, Miss Bracknell. You were trying to escape the truth just so you can save your relationship with Mr. Dallas. Talk about a reality check for everyone.
You ain't getting her.
A what?
You're not getting her. Watch.
We'll take another one. Truce out.
So you were correct, Mr. Butterfield.
I just want to see her.
You ain't.
How's it feel?
Feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, be there.
I will.
Okay.
Now you gotta look at me all the time when I come.
I ain't gotta look at you ever.
Miss Wilson and Mr. Phillips went from friends with benefits to a couple by the sword. Despite a glimmer of hope, their lack of trust deepened. To make matters worse, paternity doubts entered the picture, turning their relationship into a real bed of roses.
We were separated at a point in time. During that point in time,
Like, what was happening here? Why isn't anyone denying that part? What did we miss here? Now, what Mr. Garcia admits next might raise an eyebrow back at Mr. Phillips. Come on, man, we were expecting that.
You aren't the father of her child when you admit to having this lesson and being very close, traveling together. Any man would think.
I'm gay, so I can't be the father.
Well, that would be a material fact.
I thought he was a regular friend of hers that was the gay friend. Now I believe he's a bisexual friend.
All right.
I'm sorry for him. What's the matter? What do you feel?
I just want to know who her daddy is.
So, Mr. Jenkins, you said you wanted to know, and now you know.
Just a hookup.
Just a hookup.
It was a booty call.
And you agreed with that it was just...
Not only with me, but 3 other people
It was
as well.
just a sexual relationship.
Nah, but I feel like if she's so confident about this, my son, why it took 3 years for me to see Tanara?
Okay. Acting craziest today, we have an episode that'll leave you on the edge of your seat. So sit back, get ready, and let's dive in. Mr. Dansby is petitioning the court for a DNA test to prove Miss Simpson has been lying about him being the father of her 3-year-old son, Taurus.
Dansby, you're petitioning the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant, Miss Simpson, has been lying in her claim that you are the father of her 3-year-old son, Tanoris. Now, Miss Simpson, you're countersuing Mr. Dansby for child rearing expenses in the sum of $3,361.56, which is half of the money you claim to have spent on Tanoris.
But wait, Miss Simpson isn't staying silent. She's countersuing Mr. Dansby for child rearing expenses. This courtroom showdown is just getting started.
I had been trying to get you to do a DNA test, but you chose to run. You didn't want to go to the child support place to do the DNA test.
Is that true, Mr. Dansby?
So,
ma'am, that's not true. Miss Simpson, she had been lying. I had doubts about this kid, Tanaris. If this so much as my son, she have not let me see. I don't even know the kid.
Mr. Dansby wastes no time accusing Miss Simpson of cheating during their relationship. He claims she was seeing another man behind his baccalaureate. Drama incoming.
Miss Simpson had another man who she was dealing with.
When you met her,
Oh,
explain.
Okay, what happened was it was one particular school morning. I was getting her kids ready for school. Okay, I got them on the school bus. Miss Simpson was taking a shower that morning. I just so happened caught the phone call. It was another dude.
Miss Simpson denies the allegations, but Mr. Dansby isn't convinced. He recalls overhearing a suspicious phone call between her and another man. The tension is climbing.
Dansby, the man told you that she was his lady?
Yes.
And then what did you say?
No.
I spoke with her about it. I thought he heard.
So you
my
all
voice.
just hung up. After that, you hung up, and then that's when you had the conversation with her?
Yes, yes.
All right, so at that point, you were on notice. There was
another
man.
Court questions why it took so long for a DNA test. Mr. Dansby admits it's been 3 whole years. Can you believe that? This case is already full of surprises.
When did she say this?
Okay, and that
This was like, it was in 3 months before he was even born.
It was not 3 months. It was not 3 months.
Hold on. I want to understand this. Get me to this conversation 3 months before the baby was even born, where you say she told you the baby wasn't even yours.
I asked. We was talking over the phone, and she somewhat got an attitude with me.
Miss Simpson strikes back, saying Mr. Dansby dodged responsibility by avoiding the test. It's a fiery back and forth, and neither side is holding back.
So now you really questioning.
I'm questioning Yolanda like one behind the other. I'm trying to find out what's the truth. Is she lying to me or not?
So now July 2012, Tanoris is born.
Yeah, he was born, and I was trying to. I had got in contact with Miss Simpson. I was trying to find out whether it was my son or not.
Digging deeper, the court asks about their relationship's origin. Mr. Dansby says they met through a mutual friend and that Miss Simpson had someone else in her life. Plot twist.
You say it's the first time you met Tanoris. What was shady about that?
That was my first time ever seeing tonight. But I feel like if she's so confident about this, my son, why it took 3 years for me to see Tanara?
Okay, but I got evidence that.
Okay, we did.
You
take
put
a
on
picture.
Facebook. You put on.
What is that evidence, ma'am?
It is a picture of him and Snorris where he says that.
Ron, will you hand that to me, please?
Miss Simpson tries defending herself, but Mr. Dansby isn't buying it. He accuses her of being a compulsive liar. This case just hit a whole new level of intensity.
You felt like he wasn't making enough effort.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, it had been several occasions, several times I had tried to reach out to Miss Simpson as far as me and her getting together, sitting down and talking like grown people about Tanaris. It was all talk, no action with Miss Simpson.
When asked directly, Miss Simpson admits there might have been another man involved. The courtroom is silent. Who could the real father be?
Ms. Simpson, the expenses that you've outlined here, of course, food, bottles.
Yes.
What else have you bought for the child?
Clothes, diapers.
They total $6,723.12, which is why you're suing for half that amount, because you feel like that is what's owed to you.
Yes.
Mr. Dansby lays out a detailed timeline, pointing out every lie he believes she told. It's like a maze of deception. Will the truth finally come out?
How much have they taken out?
They be taking 100. It only took like about 360 from me already.
240.
240, 360.
240.
240. They don't took
that's
out.
all I
like
have received is 240. And that
so
was payment.
they took $360, but you've received $240, ma'am. Okay.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the DNA test results. Judge Lake reads the outcome. Is Mr. Dansby really the father of Taurus? Brace yourself.
Mr. Dansby, you are Tanoris's father.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've said it this been many days, and I've asked men to enumerate. Tell me what your doubt is and what it's based on. And there are some times when, men just get in their head that they're not the father, they can't be the father.
We've got a real doozy for you in this episode. Ashley Ellison is accusing Nathan Jenkins of being a serial cheater and possibly the father of her daughter, Olivia. Buckle up, folks. But the drama is just getting started.
Ms. Ellison, you admit to cheating on your boyfriend with the defendant and now claim he is your daughter Olivia's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you say he's done nothing for your baby and you are here with your mother to demand he step up.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ashley admits she cheated on her boyfriend with Nathan, but now claims Nathan is Olivia's real dad. Meanwhile, Nathan thinks Ashley is just trying to pull him back into her life. What a tangled web.
That's when she started explaining everything to me, like what had been going on, her dealing with other guys and her still being.
Your Honor, that is a lie.
That ain't no lie.
That is a lie.
That is not no lie.
So wait, Mr. Jenkins, it's your contention she admitted to you she was with other guys.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, he knew I had another boyfriend. That wasn't a secret. Everybody knew.
Nathan doesn't hold back. He says Ashley admitted to being with multiple guys. You could see the shock on his face when he realized he might not be the only possible father.
He didn't keep his promises.
But you had a boyfriend.
Things wasn't going right at home.
Okay, so you were entertaining Mr. Jenkins because you were having issues in your relationship.
Yes, ma'am.
So you slept with him.
Yes, Your Honor.
No protection.
Yes, ma'am.
But also still sleeping with your boyfriend?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you say, Mr. Jenkins, there were other guys too.
Multiple guys, Your Honor.
But Ashley pushes back. She says Nathan was controlling, always watching her, making her feel trapped. The tension in this courtroom is thicker than ever.
I can show you how to drive, I can show you how to get your life, I can show you how to do better for yourself.
And
I never, I never said I wanted to be in a relationship with you. When I first met Miss Ellison, we came up with a plan to achieve, to make things, not to be together in no relationship. Now, she ended up pregnant. I told Miss Ellison, I said, since you don't know, she brought it to my attention where it could be a possibility of another guy.
Then Boom Ashley drops another bombshell. She says Nathan made big promises about giving her a better life, but none of those promises came true. It's Heartbreak City, folks.
Oh, so you saying when you were sleeping with Mr. Jenkins, you didn't have any contact with your boyfriend?
After I found out that I was pregnant, he cut everything off.
After you found out you were pregnant?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so while you were pregnant, who went with you to doctor's appointments?
My mama. He took me to about 3 doctor's appointments, and that was it.
3 doctor's appointments?
And he didn't want to go.
Nathan claps back, saying he never wanted a relationship with Ashley. He claims he was just trying to help her out, teach her how to drive, and guide her in life. These mixed signals are wild.
Who your child's father is, or you wouldn't be here.
Correct.
So when you are not responsible sexually, these situations happen. That's exactly why this courtroom exists. Ms. Ellison, when you have to give a name of potential fathers to the court, did you give both men's names or only Mr. Jenkins?
I couldn't put both names down. I could only put one.
And just to spice things up, Ashley admits she also slept with her ex-boyfriend around the same time. Nathan looks like he just got hit with a truck. This paternity puzzle keeps getting messier.
Listen, Mr. Jenkins, it sounds to me like at some point this did turn into a relationship.
Man.
It was a relationship. For a year and 3 months. Even after my baby was born, we were still together.
Man, we were cool.
We were still together, Your Honor.
Court is desperately trying to sort this out. Even Ashley isn't sure who Olivia's father is. Suspense is unbearable. Who's the real dad?
What's the matter? What do you feel?
I just want to know who her daddy is. That's all.
So now that your ex is back in the picture, has he developed a relationship with your daughter?
Yes, ma'am.
He has.
To settle the madness, the court orders a DNA test. Everyone in the room is holding their breath. You can practically hear hearts pounding.
It's the father or the other guy. We will continue to do what we said we was going to do because he made that promise.
But ultimately, let's, be honest here. Miss Ellison, no woman wants to stand in a courtroom, have a beautiful, beautiful, precious little baby girl.
And now the moment we've all been waiting for. The DNA results are in. The judge is ready to reveal the truth once and for all.
Mr. Jenkins, you are her father. So, Mr. Jenkins, you said you wanted to know, and now you know. Miss Ellison, are your tears of relief because you finally know? Are you crying because Mr. Jenkins is your child's father?
Mr. Woods felt like the luckiest man alive. Becoming a father was his biggest dream, and Miss James made it come true. But that dream shattered when she told him he wasn't the father.
Mr. Woods, you say your dream of becoming a father came true when the defendant gave birth to your 1-year-old daughter, Addison. But that dream became a nightmare when months after you became a daddy and signed the birth certificate, the defendant dropped a bomb and said you are not her father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
James didn't hold back. Shay shocked the courtroom by saying Mr. Woods wasn't the biological dad. Everyone was stunned, especially since she claimed she had already told him.
I'm here today to tell them that he is not the father, and I did tell him this before.
So it even hurts you because you know the bond they have established. You know how much Mr. Woods loves Addison.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you can see she loves him.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you're saying you have to come here to tell the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Their story began with Mr. Woods being her emotional support. Ms. James had cheated out her boyfriend with him, and months later she called to say she was pregnant with his child.
We didn't talk about it, and then 2 months later I was at work, and that's when she called me and said that she was pregnant, and that was the father.
Wow. So, Ms. James?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you use protection?
No.
So when you found out you were pregnant, you immediately called Mr. Woods?
Yes, but I told him that he was not the father, that it could be somebody else.
Boyfriend rejected the pregnancy and walked away. With nowhere else to turn, Miss James told Mr. Woods he was the father, and he believed it completely.
He did not want anything to do when I told him that I was pregnant, and it possibly could be his daughter.
The other guy?
Yes, Your Honor.
He didn't want anything to do with the baby?
No, yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Woods, you said you were excited. Once you found out you were having a baby, you started going to the doctor's appointments. What else did you do?
Mr. Woods embraced fatherhood with all his heart. He was there through the birth, the sleepless nights, and even signed the birth certificate. So, where did the doubt creep in?
I did not want to leave her side or Aubrey's because she's in pain, so I stayed there the whole time. I called off.
And did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
You did. So, Ms. James, if you had these doubts, why did you allow Mr. Woods to sign the birth certificate?
Because he proposed to me and he knew that it was right to propose to someone if he wanted to take responsibility of the child.
2 months after the baby was born, Miss James finally confessed the child might not be his. That revelation crushed Mr. Woods. It was heartbreaking, plain and simple.
So 2 months after she was born.
Not until 2 months after Addison was born.
Yes, Your Honor.
What happened?
We was living together at the time. We was still engaged, and we got to a big fight. And I walked outside, and she came out with me, and that's when she said that Addison may not be mine. That could be her ex.
Even Miss James's brother couldn't deny how much Mr. Woods loved the child. He praised him as the best father figure anyone could ask for. It was a bittersweet moment in court.
Addison, and he is a great father to her, and I just really wanted to make it a point to him and Mr. Woods here that the child support can be devastating, because I am in a position of that myself, and I would like to see my niece have a responsible, good father in her life, and have that father figure.
Now the suspense is finally ending. The judge is ready to reveal the DNA results. It's been a roller coaster full of heartbreak, twists, and deep emotions. Get ready, Paternity fans.
Mr. Woods, you are not the father. I'm sorry for him and for you and for Addison. Jerome, will you please go and see if you can get Mr. Woods to return to the courtroom and check on him, please?
I will. Miss Williams brings Mr. Glover to court, convinced he is the father of her son Ricardo. Ricardo has cerebral palsy and needs surgery, but doctors require his father's identity. Mr. Glover denies being the dad, claiming his brother is the real father.
Your Honor, I haven't seen this man in years. My son has cerebral palsy. He's undergoing a surgery because now he has a magnetic rod in his back because he has scoliosis, so they're going to put the real spinal rod in his back. I'm not his blood type, so if he need a blood transfusion, he need the absent parent.
Mr. Glover says he hasn't seen Ricardo in 5 or 6 years. The last time was during a child support case. He claims Miss Williams kept avoiding DNA tests, and after repeated refusals, he gave up and moved to another state.
You truly thought you were Ricardo's father, believed, or that test had taken place, and it was determined you were the father, you would have been happy to be his father.
Yes, ma'am.
This man took my virginity, so I don't know how he feel. I don't care how he feel, but he took my virginity. This is his child. It's nobody else.
Miss Williams insists Mr. Glover took her virginity. She was with no one else during the time of conception. Mr. Glover admits they dated for a year but weren't exclusive, leading Judge Lauren to ask why he suspected cheating.
What makes you believe if she was a virgin when you met her that so quickly after meeting you she would be with other guys too?
Because initially that's what it was. Besides that, I heard something from my mother, and it was after that it just kind of threw me for a loop.
I'd like to hear from your mother. Ma'am, please stand and step over to the podium.
Mr. Glover says his mother told him everything. She takes the stand and claims she witnessed Miss Williams with another man multiple times, including performing sexual acts and exiting his car. The courtroom is left in complete shock.
You're saying you saw her with this person before she was pregnant and then after she had the baby?
Yes.
Which led you to believe this was an ongoing relationship.
I feel like that wasn't the only relationship this young lady was involved in.
Mr. Glover's brother may be the real father. Miss Williams was involved with him too. Mr. Glover even shows texts where his brother admits Ricardo looks like him. He couldn't get the truth from his brother, but maybe the DNA test can.
Mr. Glover, you are the father. What's up? What's up? That's your handsome boy.
And I just want to say I'm sorry, but it could have been handled. And like I said, I apologize though.
You need to apologize.
This is one epic church scandal you'll never forget. Mr. House came to court to clear his name after being accused of fathering a child with a woman 28 years younger. It was one wild and unforgettable case.
May have fathered a child with a woman who's 28 years younger than you.
Yes, Sean.
Now, Ms. Webster, you were involved with 3 different men during the time you conceived your daughter, including Mr. House. Now, the second possible father you've identified, Mr. Miles Jones, is 9 years older than you, and he's currently waiting outside of the courtroom.
The courtroom was buzzing. It was hard to believe Mr. House was actually a pastor. Miss Webster, the mother in question, was a member of his church and admitted there were 3 possible fathers.
moving to Buffalo, New York to take on a new assignment as a pastor. I'm a bishop, but I'm also a traveling pastor. But I'm also a man. I want to stress that right away, that I'm a man and I have manly needs. So it doesn't mean that I won't see a woman. I met her, we began to talk and enjoy. We shared some tragedies together. Mom, I was a child.
Their strange story began during a Bible study session. Miss Webster claimed it started as a normal church night, but ended with unprotected sex between her and Pastor Hout.
We met through my aunt. We met at a church. It was supposed to have been like a Bible study thing, but instead of that, it was like more, it led on to sexual, unprotected sex.
Their stories didn't match at all. Miss Webster said it started in church, but Mr. House claimed they met at a food stand and that she was the one who initiated the intimacy.
She's saying you all were at church, but regardless, you decided to be in a sexual relationship. Was it more than a sexual relationship?
No,
or
it was just a hookup.
It was
just a hookup.
It was a booty call.
And you agreed with that it was just...
Not only with me, but 3 other people
it was
as well.
just a sexual relationship. Casual, no commitment.
No commitment.
Things took a turn when Miss Webster revealed she had a boyfriend during the time she was with the pastor. She defended herself by saying the relationship was on and off, leading to her affair with Mr. Hout.
Yes, he was a boyfriend. We knew each other for 5 years, but it was an on and off relationship.
I knew nothing about that, Your Honor, at all whatsoever.
And so you knew Mr. Miles Jones before you ever met Mr. House?
Yeah.
Okay. And so admittedly, you were having... All right, Jerome, I think it's time that we meet.
Enter Mr. Jones, the boyfriend. Their relationship started as purely physical and gradually turned emotional. His appearance in court added a whole new layer to the chaos.
First, it started off as casual sex for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then I started catching feelings. She told me that she started catching feelings also, so we made a serious relationship.
So you decided to make it serious?
Yes.
But at some point, she started sleeping with Mr. House. Did you know that? You knew?
No, I had no idea.
Miss Webster found out she was pregnant. She told no one, not even her boyfriend. But when she finally told Mr. House, he completely vanished. It was like he disappeared off the face of the earth.
When I found out I was pregnant, I was trying to contact Mr. House. His phone was disconnected. First, I never knew he left town. And then I didn't even get in contact to tell him until after I had my baby, which he denied her to the Phyllis. He denied her. He wanted a DNA test. He didn't want nothing to do with my baby.
That's not true.
And for his money to be on full when I asked him for diapers and everything, where was that?
Mr. House doubted he was the father, especially after learning she was involved with other men. But the real shocker, she waited 6 whole months before telling him she was pregnant.
Then she said to me, I'm pregnant. I said, really? I said, how long? She was like, I'm about 5 to 6 months. I said, so trying to tell me that it's mine? She said
5 to 6 months before you told him?
Well, I was 4 to 5 months.
I didn't know at all.
So when you told him, I'm pregnant, did you then tell him, and you're the father?
No, I told him it's a possibility that he can be my baby's father.
Now, the truth is finally about to be revealed. It's been a messy, dramatic ride with Pastor House and Miss Webster. All eyes are on the judge as the DNA results come. And get ready, paternity fans.
Mr. House, it has been determined by this court that you are not her father.